Well, hello, board game dungeon. I don't know if you can hear my cat there, just going on a little adventure in the background. She was absolutely adamant she had to be here for this stream. Now she's causing havoc. Um, yeah, well, sleep is I'll sleep when I'm dead. Board game dungeon. That's the plan. I'm just currently in the process of setting up the new floor, so I've removed all the guards. And hey, good evening, Haggers. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, Jingle Bells. Can you hear her? She was sitting outside the door, meowing incessantly. And the minute I opened the door, she came running in. She was so excited. I don't think she has any idea what's going on, though, so I'm not sure what she's excited about. But whatever it is, she knows it's exciting. Paul says, how are you finding the game so far? Have you got a hang of the guard movement rules yet? Paul, I'm pretty sure I've got... I mean, I can do the bulldog, you know, the stationary guard that doesn't move. Got that down, no problem whatsoever. The patrol guards that move around the outside, uh, I think I've got that down, but I'm not 100% sure. It's a little tricky. Their patrol is, so far I'm effectively just having them walk along the perimeter of the map in an anti-clockwise direction. That's pretty much exactly what I'm doing, and if they want to go back to patrol, then they just sort of beeline towards the nearest edge. And that's sort of how I've chosen to do it. Um, oh, it's time to go out. There we go. The inspection is complete, and she's left the building. So hopefully, that will be the resolution of the Jingle Bells. So, yeah, and so now we're just setting up the new floor. So we've removed all the guards and everyone else, but the bots are just hanging out in their safe rooms. I've got to remember exactly who got where exactly. Actually, we should find out as well which of these floors will be used. I think there's also a special rule for this particular mission that we should make sure we adhere to. But the layout for this next level is Biodefend Floor 2. So, used in the previous floor. So we will need... Oh, security is gone. And lobby is gone. And the control room is still in play. Executive office, indeed. These two must remain in play because we've got bots in them. Storage, still here. How about tiny little entranceway? Yep, that's still here. And the server is also here. So we also need R&D and mechanical, restroom and utility. Not a problem. R&D is a room that comes in the expansion. There you go. You get to see the new room. That's cool. Mechanical. and restroom and utilities. So, yeah, I'm not sure how well we're gonna do on this one because we haven't had. We took a bit too long to do the first floor, I feel, and we might be in trouble. But maybe we can blitz through this and get it done quickly. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Before we run out of time here on the threat meter, which is ticking down. And try to remember to plan ahead a little better this time as well, just like the rulebook says you definitely should. We've got Michael Newsom says, what have I missed? And Paul says, I didn't get the brass mags, but they look nice. Well, they're, as you would expect from Burncycle, or rather from Chip Theory Games, Paul. They're exceptionally high quality. So that is really nice. They are extremely nice, the miniatures. I actually think the miniatures for the guards are particularly helpful as well because, oh, interestingly, because I smashed my way into the safe room here, the door's not actually open. I think this door actually stays open, but this one's not open, so. But yeah, they're helpful for the facing of the guards. 0 mandatory guards on this level. That's good. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. What have I done wrong here? At least there seems to be more equipment on this floor, so maybe we'll be able to make use of Byte's command module ability this time. We'll have to see. There also oddly seems to be fewer guards. Maybe whatever's on this floor is less valuable to biodefend? I couldn't say. Fewer spawn points for guards in any case. We can find out just what exactly is going on. So, floor 2 special rules. When the captain comes into play, bear with me here, I'm being spoken to. Yes, hello? Do you want to come back? Alright, this I did not anticipate when we adopted this cat. Yeah, you're lucky you're a rescue. In desperate need of a home. Where are you going? What are you doing? Yeah, you're just lonely, is that it? Ow. Want to say hi? Want to say hi? Oh, I really don't want to say hi. I don't want to say hello. No, I'd much rather tear up your chair and then leave. Alright. Why'd you come in here if you don't want to say hello? Completely unprofessional, Paul, I know. It seems to be a running trait with those of us who are on the Paul Grogan Pathfinder stream, because it happens to Johnny all the time as well. So that's 3 out of 4 of us. Alright, back to this. Changing floors, yes. So the safe zones remain as they were, because of course we've just come up the stairs, or the elevator has risen up to the next floor. This would move if Transmitter had played, but Transmitter was not the last one that played. Subroutine was the last one that played, so... I think we have to get our imperative cards. Alright, so our transmitter's going to start again because we want to do a full round of agents before the corporation plays. And I think that's pretty much it. But we do need to check the special rules for Grimace, because I know that there is, or maybe not Grimace's special rules necessarily, but the mission's special rules, because there might be some, because it's only 2 floors. So what we've got here is a function where the captain could come into play, but we've actually already triggered that. So in this case, once we've completed the mission, then the captain will come into play. Yeah. Excuse me, my master is calling. Hey, you want to go out now? You're going to be back in a minute. I know you are. Okay. So in this case, I think the captain's just going to pop into existence after we complete the actual mission. Oh yeah, Paul's birthday live streams are, I think, this weekend. So he's going to be doing lots and lots of gaming. So make sure you go and check out Gaming Rules if you haven't already. I don't know how you could have missed it, but see what Paul's up to over there. Thanks for stopping by, and happy birthday. I hope you play some good games. And so what we've got here is our special rules here. So result, place the captain on the hallway security post 3 of the team's choice if not already in play. So that's going to be the result of it when we complete the mission on this floor, which for us is enter the server or control room, disable the vibration sensors in the server or control room. So it's effectively the same mission as the first floor, but now once we complete it, the captain is going to come into play. And in order to win, we're going to have to get all bots, which is agents and the command module, into R&D, while all IPs are on layer 3 or 4 of the network. So, a little bit of a challenge there, although we have been crushing the network, so hopefully that part won't be too bad. I also realized that there's actually like flavor text on the back of both of these, so I'm going to treat you to a little introduction to what we're actually doing here, which I definitely should have done at the beginning of the last stream, but I somehow missed it. I guess there's a lot going on, so let us go ahead and learn just a little bit more about what it is we're doing here. And also, good evening, Layla. Thanks for joining us, and it's good to see you. And Michael, of course, thanks for hanging out as well. So, if you missed the first floor, then fear not, this is what we're doing here. We are infiltrating the company Biodefend, and they are being protected by a captain called Grimace. So, actually, we can see about maybe getting a little bit of the card text up on screen here. Biodefend's latest Total Bot security tool is a highly tuned sensor that can recognize and track specific vibrations and identify whether they were caused by humans or robots. As is frequently the case with new Biodefend inventions, it has been installed at the corporate headquarters first, allowing the company to conduct live tests before bringing the technology to market. Since the advent of such a product would make our infiltration much more difficult in the long run, we have decided to break into Biodefend now and attempt to access the data and how the sensors work, allowing us to easily circumvent them by the time they reach distribution. And this is being protected by Grimace. There he is. He's strong, silent, and has an impeccable jawline. Grimace is favored by CEOs who wish to use him as a personal bodyguard. Doggedly loyal, more than able to take a punch, and equipped with a hard drive scrambling static defense system, Grimace cuts an imposing figure for any would-be mechanical saboteur. Grimace is an unusual name, and the captain's existence has led some to wonder if he and a similarly named, once rising corporate start need chain are one and the same. Grimace rarely speaks, and his helmet keeps his identity a secret, but rumor has it that his time in Ebwal is a form of corporate purgatory punished by Beau Zephyrs for a hostile takeover attempt gone awry. Time may yet tell what will become of this immovable, enigmatic figure. We thought the same thing, Michael. We thought he looked like Judge Dredd as well. Hey, Eddie, not much. We've actually just finished setting up the floor, so for the new level. We haven't put the guards out yet. That's the last thing we have to do. For those of you that want a different angle, here it is. So we got all of our equipment chips out. We got our terminal chips out. All the surveillance tokens are out. The servers are up here. And the control room is actually right here next to both of these folks. So what we have to do is, just like in the last mission, we have to get each bot into the server or control room. So once each bot has been in, we can mark them with a little blue chip here. So I'll take these away now. These are I mean, you can pretty much, the game comes with a bunch of these and says you can pretty much use them for whatever you want. So I'm using them currently as objective markers to show when we've done the objective. So in this case, the objective is to enter this room or this room with each of our bots. There are 3. You've got Byte and subroutine here. Byte is the command module, and then hiding over here in the corner is terminal. Came up in the elevator. And of course, we also need to resolve all the terminal tokens in one room. So that could be server room or could be the control room. Now we have to put out our guards for level 2. So we've got 3 level 2 guards. Our first one is going to be this guard. So we're going to also lay these out in the order. This should be autofocusing. Come on, buddy. That's a bulldog. Lots of awareness. Doesn't actually move unless it has a reason to move. And this is going into security area 1. So this is standing here and staring at the stairwell where I am. It's got an awareness of 10, but it doesn't travel through walls and doors. So currently I'm feeling a lot like we're very lucky here that we came up in this one, because we can just punch through this wall here. Of course, there could be a guard in this very room, but sometimes you gotta roll with the punches. Alright, so security level 2 is going to be here and here. And so for this one, we've got level 2 hamster, grapple 2. That means if you go next to it, you're going to have to spend extra movement to get away from it. And it's going to just walk back and forth in a line. Need chain is so much easier than biodefend. I don't know why we picked biodefend. Now we're over here. Another bulldog. This is, again, the same stats, 10 and 4. And now we're up here. We'll start with this one. It is a hamster. Now I seem to have run out of unseen level 2 chips. Did we really use 2 level 2 chips on the last floor? Did I discard some level 2 chips in the wrong space? I did not. Alright, we've got one more level 2 guard to put out here. And it's going to be a radio head. So it goes towards doors, and it's cautious. So it just likes to shut doors behind it. Just like me when I'm playing horror video games. There we go. The radio head is deployed. So actually we've got no guards that patrol. Are there no level 2 guards that patrol? Huh. Yeah, there's no level 2 walkers. How odd. Have I set up these chips wrong? I have not. Yeah, how weird. Oh yeah, the Burncycle. I must check to see if the Burncycle resets during the floor transition. I don't think it does. Pretty sure the Burncycle remains the same. It sure does. Burncycle is the same. Alrighty then. So, let's come up with a plan this time. Do you remember how I spent the whole first floor? So it's going to be Transmitter's turn first. Transmitter starts, then it's subroutine, and of course Bite is there as well. But you remember that subroutine ended the round, so they've still got the corporate marker. And it's going to be back to Transmitter's turn. And I mean, you remember the last floor, I basically spent most of the time lamenting the fact that I did a huge jaunt through this room when I could have just walked around the outside of the building and broke in through the wall. So, in that instance, I think what we probably want to do is something sort of similar. So what's this thing's awareness? This thing's awareness is 3. Uh-oh. We got some, oh, thanks, Alessandro. Good to see you. Glad you could join. I did not, got lost in my little setup world there. So glad you're here, and thank you for helping with the bots. They've been out in force today. I'm gonna bring up this page now because, the bots are gone. But, Alessandro, thank you for stopping by. Glad you could make it, and good to see you. So, here we've got the floor plan. So it actually looks oddly less scary than floor 1. And I'm feeling quite good because we have powered up quite a bit. Although I do note that Bite has some less. I do seem to have 2 chips still over here on subroutine. So we've got a physical chip and a utility chip here, which is good because there's 2 chips out of the Burncycle. But, oh, and we've got 1 tech chip here in the communal pool as well. But if we have a look here, what we've got is yeah, what we've got here is a need to make a plan. So the one problem I sort of foresee happening here at the moment is that this plan I think is pretty simple, right? Like someone breaks through this wall. And then we pray there's no guard here. Either way, we can just like beeline over to here and resolve this terminal Bite can come in, and that's like almost the vast majority of the mission done already, which, you know, is pretty good. But then all occupied... Where's R&D then? Okay, this is R&D. So then we need to get everyone in here. And it seems like there's sort of two options here. Either we try to go... If there's no guard in this room, we can kind of leisurely sort of... Either this hamster is going to go on a patrol like this, so it's going to depend on where it ends up going and where it is at the time. If there's time, we could feasibly, you know, come out here and run across, or perhaps we can bust through the wall here. But it might even be better to bust through the wall here and then bust into the room here. We're going to throw 2 dice, so there's a strong possibility there's going to be guards in this room. So if we can surveil the room first, that'd be great. But ultimately, we just need to get every bot in here. So timing is going to be key. It may well be the case that Bite and Subroutine have to lay low in this room if they can, if there's no guard here, while Transmitter figures out what it's going to do. Because it can't... I mean, it can move and move undetected, and it has 2 keys left over from the first floor. I mean, bearing in mind, we only have so long to lie low because we have to... move quickly because of the threat. So, I mean, we could feasibly just get in here, maybe even resolve these terminals, because terminals are great, and get over here, but it's a lot of movement for something that can't move unless it's optimized. Having said that, we've somewhat mitigated this by taking all the purple chips. Hey, Chris, welcome. Score out of 10 now! Need to know if I should have non-backers, remorse, or enjoy all the money I didn't spend. Well, Chris, I'll tell you what I've been telling everyone watching the streams and doing the review at the end. This is a tricky one to review. I've made notes, folks. I almost wrote them on paper with a pen, but I ended up typing them. But they were almost old school notes. So, meanwhile, Chris has been playing Oathsworn today, which I hope we're going to get to play on the channel, but we'll have to see if we can get that organized. Hager says, watching this, I wish a little that I had backed it, but then I realized I'd probably rarely play it. Oh, Layla, don't tempt Chris. You know, he is a contributor on the show. The last thing we need is for him to withdraw support. So, not that he would, of course, ever threaten that. But Oathsworn made a great first impression. Good. Well, hopefully we can get that organized. I'm excited to check it out. And Layla says, mine is due for delivery on Monday. I have Envy. Well, Layla, maybe then enjoy this playthrough and then stop watching before the review in case you don't want to have your first impressions tarnished by what I may or may not say. Maybe I'll praise it, you know, gloriously. But, you know, then I'm setting you up for disappointment if you don't like it. Maybe I'll condemn it, in which case, you know, I'll be, you know, creating the sense of disappointment. So, effectively what I'm saying is, you know, maybe don't watch the review till after you've had a chance to have a go yourself. But, oh, Layla said, oh no, I mean my Oathsworn. Well, fair enough. And it looks like everyone's having Kickstarters arrive except for me. Layla says, my only Chip Theory games are Too Many Bones and Trip Lock. The others haven't quite piqued that interest high enough yet. And Chris has also had the Hogs of War miniatures game arrive, which he's excited to play. Very good. Yes. Well, we shall hopefully find time for all of these things. Only time wasn't so fleeting. Speaking of which, this mission must happen now. So, Transmitter, I think, the thing is, we can't really fix the burn cycle. I don't especially want to reset it just yet, because I still have 3 things. So we could use this utility chip, tech chip. we've got a physical action here. We've actually got, so we don't want to root power. So the first step, of course, of the player turn is root power. We're not going to do that. What we can do is make our dice pool up, and we have loads of dice with Transmitter now because he got a massive power boost at the in the last mission. So just tons of dice. So I mean, he's also undetectable. So I mean, this kind of has worked out kind of perfectly. Oh no, but he will be detected. He's only undetectable. Oh, this is problematic actually. He's only undetectable by security's awareness. Of course, okay, so really he can't move out of that room this turn because the minute he steps outside, he'll be detected thanks to the floor vibrations of this mission. So really, actually, maybe he just kind of needs to skip a turn. Alternatively, he could try and punch through the wall. That'll make noise, though, and they'll come and investigate. I mean, if he just waits and subroutine can actually shut this down, the floor sensors will be off pretty much immediately. We could actually swap these two around. During floor setup, you can change the positions of the bots to any spot in the room that you want. So we could feasibly start by like this and actually have Transmitter try to boost Bite to punch through the wall and just get on with this. Which might actually be really good, especially if there's a robot here that we need to react to. So let's go ahead and make that our new plan. I don't fancy... What is this doing here? Is this just a door to nowhere? Why is there a door to nowhere? Is that actually like that? It is. I guess it's just covering up the guard spawn location to keep the guards to a reasonable number. So if we punch through the wall here, a guard will come and check this out, but not until, well, it'll be this guard, I think. Yes, this guard will come and check it out, but not until the corporate phase, and we'll be long gone. So yeah, let's go ahead then, and the terminal action, well, we probably want to swap the terminal into here because that's going to be a move action actually, but we want at least 2 more actions. So we'll do that so we can take 3 actions with Transmitter, but the first action, which is a physical action, is going to be for Bite to punch through the wall here, the command module. So we need 10, we've got +2. I suggest throwing in we need 8 actually. We can probably average 2 on these dice, so that's 6. And then I think that should be enough, but that doesn't leave us much to move Bite 1, 2, 3, 4. We've only got these 2 left over. So hopefully we can maybe recover some of these. Otherwise we might just have to move Bite out the way so subroutine can get through later. Of course, that really depends if there's a guard here as well. But I don't think there's much we can do about that at the moment, other than try to position subroutine there to protect Bite. Okay, so I see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a blank, so we can recover the blank and use that for movement, which is nice. And that punches all the way through the wall. So we can pop this down here to show there's a door there. And we will put out Bite's awareness chip because that made a lot of noise. And we can move into the room for free, which I actually forgot about. So we'll definitely take that free move. And now we must surveil the room. And there is a 1 in 3 chance we get into trouble here. Incidentally, also, Bite has now completed her objective, or the first part of the objective, get into the control room or server room. So that's enormously helpful. All right, so let us roll this die and pray for no shield. Is it going to show up okay in here? Ah! The perfect result. I don't think any of you can see that. So I apologized. Oh, was the camera on? It wasn't on. So there you go. Now you can kind of see the faint outline of where that landed, which is here. You can see that the door locks behind me. But there's no door to lock because I punched through the wall. So it's fine. That's extremely good fortune. So these dice are spent. And action number 2 is going to be move action again. So we're going to... now, unfortunately, if we use these all for movement, we're going to get here and then have no... Maybe we... we're going to have no action dice left to take an action on the actual terminal. So maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe we should just go grab some equipment instead. Yeah, I mean, we can use... It's green, so we can take optimized network action, so we can at least have a free network card. So it's level 3 administrative privilege. Turn any one terminal into a mainframe terminal. Okay, so that's definitely one that we want to hang on to here. And actually, potentially, what we can do is let subroutine... is turn this into a mainframe terminal, and let subroutine take a couple of actions for free. Oh, the imperative cards. Shoot, I forgot about them. Transmitter's imperative card is... Tamper lockdown. The next time your agent takes a keypad action, they cannot use brute force. That's fine. And the imperative card for subroutine, hopefully not something too severe. Low battery. The next upgrade your agent routes power to must be an advanced or elite die. Yep, no problem. Actually, I'm more than okay with that. Although, it'll have to be an advanced die because subroutine can't buy elite dice. Okay, cool. Having resolved that little oversight, we drew the network card. So now let's do a move, and Bite can go and grab some equipment. Subroutine can't actually carry anything else anyway. Their inventory is full. So we've gone ahead and we've rolled a 3 here with 1 extra die. So we could go 1, 2, 3 and make it to here. Or we could go 1, 2, 3. If we do go here, we have 1 die to try and resolve the mainframe card. So I think that we should how close actually can transmitter make it to level 3 green? I don't think they can. Let's have a quick look at the network board. So transmitter's all the way out here. And the first movement would be purple to here. The next movement would be green, which could take us around to here. And then we have green again, which could take us around to here. So we could do it. So yeah, let's not grab the terminal now. It'd be a total waste. Let's let Bite go 1, 2, 3 and pick up whatever equipment this is. Hopefully, I'm hoping for Kung Fu Knower or a hammer. The attack hammer. Both are attack cards. I'm hoping for something that's punch people. We actually got the CPU restarter. Set this die to 5 when acquired. On your turn, you may reduce this die to 1 to reroll an action die. Discard this when this die reaches 0. Okay. I mean, that's actually really good. I like that 5 rerolls on action dice. I don't know if Bite can apply this to... I guess it's actions that are being that she's being sort of commanded to do. So she could reroll either transmitter or subroutine's dice when she's taking those actions. That's how I'm going to choose to interpret this. There's a FAQ on their website, which might answer questions like this if you have them. So that's that. We actually do have one more action here with transmitter, but I think we should just grab more network cards because we were out of action dice. Well, no, actually, we do have this one left. But I don't think there's anything further particularly useful we can do other than move bite one more step. I suppose that could be useful, actually, to put bite here. I mean, I like the idea of punching through the outside here because there's a wall between us and the hamster, so it won't even notice. We just go outside and then we punch through over here. So yeah, why not? We'll take an optimized network action again, which lets us draw one network card and then take a regular action of another type. So we've got stun any guard in play. That's actually really useful, and we're going to be... are we going to be doing this? No, we're not, unfortunately. Going to be stopping on a purple in level 2. So, useful, but unfortunately not applicable. And then we can move bite. So, hopefully we'll get to move bite. We'll see. So, 2 actually, but we'll just move bite 1 to here. I mean, I suppose we could move bite 2 to here. And then next turn, she's actually ready to take that terminal action on behalf of subroutine. And it means that if subroutine doesn't make it that far, it's okay. So that's actually probably quite a sensible thing to do. So let's do that. So there we go. I feel like this floor is already going quite well. Hope, fingers crossed, touch wood, that I haven't just jinxed it. Alessandra says, for the first time ever, you managed to beat a door. No, Alessandro, I got around the door problem by punching a hole in the wall. Unfortunately, this is not time for celebration. I have just chosen to make my own doors. Yeah, once the hole in the wall is created, does it become door? Is it now door to go through? When is a door a door? This seems to be going well. Famous last words. Yes, indeed, Layla. It's true. I probably shouldn't have said that. Okay. What are we doing? Okay, so we're doing transmitter's network step. So this is going to reset to the beginning of the burn cycle. And we'll pop over here. And we are going to first have purple. So that's just exactly as we planned it, really. One step up here. Doesn't trigger our network cards, though. And then we've got green. So this allows us to go around here and all the way down and around to here. And again, that doesn't trigger anything. And finally, we've got green again. So we can pop into ring 3 and then we move around to here, which is great because that triggers the administrative privileges network card. And we can make one terminal into a mainframe terminal. And so, as discussed, we're going to do this. Which means that this terminal action costs no AP. And we're going to combo it with one of these, so we get 2 free terminal actions. So hopefully we draw a good terminal card. We'll have to see. And that's that resolved. So now we have to root power, but we're not going to do that. So now we have to, unfortunately, degrade the burn cycle. Let's try throwing this in here and see what happens. It's a 3. Not actually the worst. 3 or 4. I would have been fine with any of those. Honestly, I'm just glad I got to keep 2, really. And now it's back to subroutine. And the real question is, how many actions do I want to do here? Because subroutine has two chips. And we've got utility and physical. So I could feasibly replace these 2 up here to get 4 actions. But really my plans this turn are for subroutine to leave the stairwell, and I don't really mind how far into the room they get. If they can get all the way over here, it's great. And actually we should build their dice pool as well. So first off, we're not rooting power. Then we build the dice pool. It's 7 blues and 3 yellows. Because we we're not doing well with dice last time, so we've had to up the dice count by spending power. And hopefully Bite will actually have a chance to recover some power here as well on this terminal card, because she's only on 3, and that's a little scary. So, I mean, what we could do is pop Bite's physical chip in here, and then try to move Bite all the way over here with the first action, second action, punch through the wall. This thing only moves 3, and it would come to investigate, so that's 1, 2, 3. So it wouldn't even get into this room until next turn. So that's okay. That's fine. Do we have enough dice to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces and also punch for 10 if both are optimized? So really 4 and 8 is what we would need. Let's count and see. Let's maths. Call those average of 2. So that's a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm averaging these as 2 as a 1. 12. It's cutting it pretty fine, but it is we actually also have the efficiency algorithm. Don't let me forget about the efficiency algorithm. So the efficiency algorithm means we can set these to 1. So actually, I think we actually have a pretty solid chance of doing that. Okay, so we can do both of those things, and then also we can resolve the terminal up here. And this utility chip, I think we save it, because I don't know where to put it, and I don't think I necessarily need a third action this round. A fourth action this round. Yep. Alrighty then. So let's pop this physical chip in here. And we're going to start with moving subroutine. So we need to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think because this is more important than the punching, I think we've got +2, so we just need 4. So I think we just take 4 blue dice and set them all to 1s, thanks to the efficiency algorithm, right? And then we automatically get there. So we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's resolved. And then we move on to the second action, which is another physical action. And now we're going to throw the rest of our dice to try and punch through the wall here. And so this is requiring a 10. And we get +2 to this. And you can watch it at a more exciting angle for reasons that I've just decided on. I'm going to make my own doors, Alessandro. These doors are much friendlier. Here we go. Alright, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. +2 is 10. Pretty spot on, honestly. Glad I forgot the efficiency algorithm again, or I would have set all of these blues to 1s and failed. Jeez Louise. Oh god, this game simultaneously fills me with joy and makes me feel like a moron. So subroutine punches through the wall here, creating a door, and also that highlights the fact that we are here. And we're done with these dice. So we have but one action left, which is optimized terminal action. So here it is. We get to pick 2 of these and do them for free. So let's hope this is a good card. And this is also Bite's action. Alright, so we got network at the top there, which is hard to read. It actually says move your IP to the next hub clockwise on its current network, on its layer, or layer 1 if you're at your access point, and gain the hub's benefit. So, not ideal. These are all cheap, which is a real shame. Place your awareness chip on any terminal space. IP bounce, that's going to be useful. Until the burn cycle reboots, you may choose which active chip to degrade on their turn instead of the burn cycle. All of these are kind of a bummer, not going to lie. Bite doesn't even have an IP, so I actually don't know what they do instead. because it actually just says move your IP to the next hub clockwise on the current layer. We don't have an IP with byte, so I don't know if we can move someone else's, like, or if we can move the active players, which would be subroutines. I don't really care about optimize, so we can definitely use power grid to start with, because that actually is going to move byte's awareness chip, which is great. We can put this somewhere where we really don't care about. Like the executive office. I think I did that last time, and then I wound up not actually using it. But that's pretty good, because it means that the bulldog isn't even going to come in here. I mean, actually, what do we care about more? Because this hamster with awareness 6 is going to come here. But it's not going to get into this room until next turn, by which point will we be able to get out here and punch through and get both characters in here? No, I actually think distracting this hamster would be better. So let's leave... Oh, well, we can only move bytes, though. And someone's going to come investigate this. And it's going to be this hamster. Isn't it? Yeah, because it's got to be the closest, right? I mean, realistically, this hamster is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 away from this. Nobody's closer than that. But that means I could put this... No, I would have to put this 10 away from this hamster. And also 10 away from everyone else. I don't think it's possible. So I think just moving this bulldog out of the way. We're moving this bulldog out of the way. Or this hamster. God, I don't know which guard I want to get rid of. I realize this guy's not going to move now, so long as I move this chip. So, which guard do we want to get gone? I really don't like the radio head, but I also don't think I can get rid of it. I also don't think any of these are going to really matter, because transmitter is so stealthy. Oh, jeez. Stick with the original plan. We'll get this bulldog to go and hide in the executive office. There we go. Who's in there? Yeah, okay. Good. So, actually, also that means Subroutine has completed the mission as well, so we can give Subroutine a little bead of achievement. Beads of achievement. And then I guess we'll pick Optimize, because then I can make sure I have both of the purple chips for next round. A little bit of an underwhelming thing there, but never mind. And now we're actually like 3/4 of the way down the mission already. But by keeping both of these, it means that we have 2 chips next turn to get Subroutine out here, and then punching through here feasibly. Oh, when we punch through here, we actually could move out here for free. So let's do that. And that gets Subroutine into the next position already. We get a free move after... Do we get a free move after creating a doorway, or did I make that up? You get a free move after doing a keypad action, which opens a door. I don't know if you get a free move after punching through a door. I might have confused those two. But probably I haven't. I'm probably playing perfectly. You can make a free move to the other side of the destroyed wall. Yes, I was correct. I never doubted myself for a second. You saw nothing. Okay. So now it's time for the network step. it's time for subroutines network step. So we've got purple, purple, green. We have no network cards. So really, we just want to try to get to the center of the cream egg. Uh, Realistically, though, we can just go across to here. And then we've got green, so we can either go out there or back here. So we might as well just pop along to here. And that de-escalates threat, which is always good. So threat will come back down here. Oh, I forgot the movement stats of all security units are doubled. Oh, that's bad. Oh. Everyone bear with me here. I need to see if I can fix this. Well, actually, could we get security down again on the network and then I wouldn't have to worry about it? We've used 2. We've actually got just 1 green movement left. We can't get to this security down. Oh, sorry. We can't get to this security down because there's a green one in the way. So if we set off across here, we'd stop there. If we go this way, we'd stop here. Or we could go out to here, but that's power die up, not security down. So no. The answer is no. We can't get below the defense contract stage this round. Which means it might be worth trying to distract that hamster with the awareness chip after all. I just need to figure out whether that's possible. By checking their investigative AI paths. So investigate. The second group, after pursuit, any awareness chips still in play that have not been flipped must be investigated by a security unit if possible. We pick the awareness chip, and the closest security unit will be the one that investigates it. We choose if they're equidistant. So really what we need to do is move this chip so that it's closer to this. So we need to move the chip we put here so it's closer to this guy than this chip. Which is fine, that's easy. It's just also got to be closer to this guy than... I mean, really, we could pop it here, and that's pretty funny. Because now he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just stand over there. But then someone's going to come and investigate this. And it's definitely going to be that guy, but he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, yeah, they're hot in our tail, but that's obviously a better choice than trying to hide this guy who is irrelevant. God, this guy's going to be like beelining back and forth. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's going to get back to his starting position. His patrol is so short. All right. So, yeah, so good thing we caught that before the net or the corporation phase. So then I guess our last green movement will just go into here because why not get closer to the core? All right. And then we can I should actually leave that network card out. Where did I put it? Not the network card, the terminal card that we resolved. Huh, where'd it go? Here it is. So I leave this here to remind me that we took optimize. So we're not going to spend any power, so we are going to get to choose this, so we will just depulp that. And now it is time for the corporations phase, which begins with the security unit activation. There's no detected agents, so they're not going to, or bots, there's no detected bots, so they're not going to go after that. But they will do an investigate, so we can choose to activate this chip first, which means this hamster is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and has investigated Byte's chip successfully. And then, and also stash himself in a room that I don't think he's ever coming out of. Now someone needs to investigate this. Oh, he's closest. Oh no, but he's already activated, so he's done. So then this one's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yikes. Maybe we can find a way to move that chip. Or else we just better scarp her. Right, so that's the end of those two activating. So now we're just going to do patrols. I actually totally forgot that this guy's literally going to turn around and go 1, 2, 3, and then close this door. Because he's got double movement. Which I guess is fine. Transmitter has 2 keys. And he doesn't notice transmitter because transmitter's small. And actually now, well, that guard's not going to move away though. That's a problem. That guard is kind of just blocked transmitter in. Uh-oh. Why is this music so apt? Okay. Alright, so then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Amazing. And that's the end of their patrols. So we're going to activate pings, but there are none, so we're going to add a ping to the network and throw the evil villain die. Which says, add another ping to the network, and then every ping that can. Is that right? Or does that increase their power? It is. Add a ping to the core, and then any ping that can transfer will transfer. So we're going to add a ping here, and then it will transfer out to here. That's fine. I can defeat all of these things because I have mighty dice. And then finally, threat will advance by 2, which is where we have to be really careful. So really now we're in kind of a race against time to get transmitter into R&D, and also the other room that transmitter needs to get into. Ugh, I really thought having transmitter all the way over there wouldn't be so bad. The question is, do I reboot the Burncycle this round? Yeah, I think I have to. It's a real bummer though, because threat's going to go up by 2 more. But I think that's a price we're going to have to pay. Because we're kind of really short of chips. And, well, quite frankly, I don't know what to do with transmitter even if I do reboot the Burncycle. Because now the guard's blocking the way. And so, I mean, we can open the door easy enough. But, I mean, I guess we can push the guard, but then we'll definitely become detected. And then we're going to have this massive problem. Although, I guess, actually, becoming detected is not really transmitter's biggest problem, because we can push the guard, we will become detected, and then we can just move. And it won't know where we are anymore, because it can't detect transmitter, because he's part of the scenery. So, it's just kind of a pain, really. So yeah, I guess let's start by rebooting the Burncycle, which unfortunately means we have to get rid of it. Yeah, oh, but if we're going to push him... No, because we're still only going to have 4 actions as opposed to 8. So I think that it's worth it. What is... Discard a chip from your reserve. Oh yeah, that Burncycle ability sucks. But that's fine. So... And actually, everybody's in rooms, aren't they? Although transmitter's in a service elevator, which is useless. And actually, subroutine's outside and not standing on a symbol, which is a bummer. So we're only going to get 1 green chip. which sucks. But I guess this is the price we have to pay. Is it worth paying? Ugh, I'll let you know. Okay. So over here we've got green, purple, purple. Over here we've got blue and green. How did they have a physical chip subroutine in his reserve? Did I make a mistake? Or did I get that from somewhere, some bonus? Only people who watched the whole show will know. Oh, maybe... Nope. I do not know how that happened. But I haven't touched this game since the last stream, so it must be correct. Because, obviously, Flawless, never make a rules mistake. It's not like it's recorded here on the internet for everyone to see for all of time. He's not blocked, he's chilling. Yeah, Alessandro, we're just hanging out with the Radiohead guard. We got the captain's chip, first one. Which is actually alright. I'm okay with that. Now, I've not yet used the push action, so let's have a quick look and see how this works. Not yet had to use it. So there's a limitation as well. He may not take strike or move actions unless it's optimized. Right, but we can still take push then. Here we go. So... Oh, weirdly, it doesn't have it under physical actions. I would have thought push would be a physical action. Agent upgrades. Yeah, that's fine. I want to know what push does, please. Here it is. Universal abilities. Once activated, you may use the push ability during a move action. The bot taking the action is able to spend 1 additional AP from its movement to enter a space occupied by a security unit. The AP is in addition to the AP needed to move. This security unit is moved to an unoccupied space adjacent to it, not including the one the bot previously occupied. If the bot was previously undetected, using push will cause it to be detected. The push cannot be used if there are no valid spaces. That's fine. Push may be used multiple times during the same move, though it does still require the additional 1 AP to use each time. Can we push him into a room? When units become or stop being adjacent to each other, abilities that trigger when the units become or stop being adjacent to each other will not be triggered, such as the drain and grapple abilities. Well, that's fine. He doesn't have either of those. So I guess we have to spend a power to buy the push ability, which is what we'll do now. So I've reduced the power already, and now we've got the push ability. So that's part of our root power. Now we have to build our dice pool, so we're still going to get... Luckily, we have lots of dice now, because we were having problems being capped at 4 power. Now I've only got 3 blue ones. We're going to have to optimize the burn cycle as well, because we actually can't... We might as well actually full-on optimize the burn cycle, because that captain's chip is going to force us to discard it in a second. So let's just go ahead and get rid of all of these, you know, like this. There we go. I like that. Yikes. It's a bit risky, but here we go. So action number 1, I think we're just going to draw a network card for this one because I can't take a move action here. So the network card is Shipping Manifest. Draw 2 equipment cards, and you choose 1 to keep. Alright, and that's a level 2 blue objective there. Alright, and now action number 2. I guess we're going to use our key to open the door. Because we could take the keypad action and potentially use Tamper Lockdown to get power. But because I've got my movement here, I really don't want to be, messing around. So we've got an optimized move action. So let's go ahead and throw... Is there any reason not to throw, like, all of our dice here? What else are we going to be doing this turn other than just running across the map? We need to get to the server room. So that's 1, 2... Well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 steps. So, yeah, I'd say we just throw all the dice. Well, let's have a quick think. So if it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, we could try to keep a couple of dice in case we get the opportunity to use an optimized... Yeah, we might as well keep 2 dice, actually. So here we go. We're throwing all but 2 blues. On the off chance we get to do something cool with one of the terminals in the room. Okie dokie. So this one comes back, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not too bad. So we push this guy out the way, and we become... detected. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to here. And of course that would be an issue if the floor vibrations were still on. It would have of course tracked us. If we weren't transmitter, we would of course have been noticed, but we are transmitter, and we've turned off the floor vibration detector, so it's all good. Thank you, Alessandro, for that. Okie dokie. Action number 3 then is going to be move again. We've got 2 free spaces, so I think I'm just going to throw this 1 die and see what I get. It's a 1. That's fine. So here we've got to use our key. So the reason we're going in this room is because we have to complete the objective. We're still going to have a sort of pseudo problem, really, where we need to get down to R&D, and we need to do it fast. But let's see if we can get some benefit from these terminals. So we've got 3 movements. So we are going to go 1, 2, 3 like this. We're going to have to throw surveillance first. Just fingers crossed the door doesn't lock behind us. In this case, I actually don't care if we get a guard. I just don't want the door to close behind us. So let's go ahead and see what we get. Actually, that's great. You guys can't see because my green screen sucks, but it's the power symbol. So we've gained a power. So, again, we're getting lucky with this surveillance dice this round. So that goes back up to 4 there, which is the maximum we can hold. So that's nice. And now we've wound up on the terminal. So we might as well use our last action here to resolve the terminal. Probably not going to be able to resolve anything because we've only got 2 dice. But we might as well try because I don't want to spend too long in this room. So we've got... hold on. Oh, sorry about that. So we got... well, 1 we can't afford because it's 4 AP. I mean, we could if we rolled double 6s. We've got unlock a door of your choice or planned obsolescence. Until the Burncycle reboots. I mean, so it's the optimized one again. I think we should take optimized because I don't think we're going to get the 3. I mean, I'd love to use the systems one to unlock a door of my choice, but I just don't think we're going to get 3. It requires us... The odds are not in our favor, so let's just throw these 2, and we're hoping to get 2 here. And we got 1, so we didn't actually get to do anything, which is a bummer. We actually could have picked 2 to resolve there, but we had no action points. Maybe that was a waste of a terminal chip. I should probably have just taken a network card. Never mind. We can still resolve this other one if we want. Okay. And now it is time for the network phase. So this is going to reset and come over here. Our first movement will be 1, and we are green. So we'll move 1 up here, which gives us another power, putting us on 5, actually. So we're going to have to spend 1. Our next movement is purple, but all we can do is go forward and fight this guy. So we ping him off the network because our 5 is more than their 2, and our 5 goes down to 4. And now our next move is purple again. So, and then after that, we're going to have green again. Green. So the question is, what do I want to do? Do I want to move out and try to lower security? I want to go for this. You got to go for the core. You got to. Plus, with my 4 to their 2, I can still take out 2 more pings. So if I go into the center, so I used my first move, I used my second move, I get to move to purple, and then I get to move to green. So I'm basically 1 away from pinging them off the network. Sorry, from getting into the core again, which is awesome. Okie dokie, and then it is time for subroutine. No, then it's time to root power, actually, which I need to do, and also degrade the network, which I have to do. I have to root power. So I think in the interests of... Well, let's have a think here. I think if one of those purple chips degrades, I am in trouble. So I think in the interests of sort of like prolonging steps here, because threat's a problem as well, I think we should spend 2 and actually just unlock the last of Transmitter's reserves. Because I think we'll probably have to boot the Burncycle 1 more time, and this gives us a bit more staying power given the presence of the Captain's chip, and make the most out of these purple chips. And so that is that. And now we have to degrade the Burncycle, and fingers crossed we roll something good. What have I done with this die? Did I leave it in here? No. All right, here it is. It's a 1. That is unbelievably lucky. Good. That's bought us some more time. Okay. And so now it is back to subroutine. And I think, what is our first action? Our first action should really be a physical action. So let's replace this with green, and I'll tell you why. Because I might need this blue one to help out Transmitter later. So, what is this action even going to be? Let's take... Oh, we didn't get to do the shipping manifest. I should have maybe thought about that. Oh, I was going to try and do that. Oh, well, do you know what? I went for the core, made my bed. It's fine. Let's grab a couple of these, actually, with a couple of network cards. So we're doing an optimized network action here, which is to take a network card and then take another unoptimized action, which could be another network card. So what we've got here are a bunch of blues, which we're not going to be able to do, I don't think. We can certainly give it a try, but actually, no, we can't land on any blues because we have no blue chips in the Burncycle, so these are going to be largely a waste, unfortunately. And that's the end of that. So now we've got the physical action. I forgot to build the die pool. It's the same as it has been. 7 of these and 3 of these. So now we need to punch through the wall into this room. And this is... Oh, also I forgot to mark... Oh god, I'm getting all confused. Transmitter needs this. Okay, so we need 8 here because it's optimized. So yeah, this is where things are going to get risky, actually. But also, if we can get Transmitter... Actually, so we should get 2 power. We should have had 2 power each last turn. Oh god, you guys! If I had 2 extra power, what would I do? I would have bought another die because that's the only thing I can do. Um, so I'm going to do that. We also should have spawned this guy. I don't think it will make a much of a difference. Hang on. So transmitter would have had 6 power and spent 2. No, we would have had 7 power and spent 2. By this, which would leave us with 1 more. So I guess 2 more for another elite die, mostly because I'm buying dice because, you know, more actions is good. And then the result of completing the mission is place the captain on a hallway 3 security post of your team's choice if not already in play. And he's got this floor 2 special rule. The captain comes into play if he's got the kind of patrol that he does. Its post is the hallway security post 2 beside the control room, which is actually here. So the captain pops into existence here. That's bad news, probably. Because I'm about to punch through a wall right next to him. Ooh, God. And then it will be their turn. And I don't really know what to do. Other than pray. So let us pray. Right. So back to the physical action. I could go 1, 1, 1. That's 3, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, because of course I have 7 of those. So I could, in fact, just do that. And that would give me 9. I'd be very close to opening the door. But I don't think... I don't think I really care too much about that. I mean, I do. I care a lot, but I think I should throw one of these. I have to. I have to throw one of those. So then I have 3 dice left. Yeah, so, okay, here we go. So we set all of these to 1 using our optimized business. And so now we've got 7, 8, 9, and we throw this, and we're guaranteed to succeed. And it's a 1, which is the bare minimum. Which is fine. So we're going to punch through this wall here, which means we've now used all of our wall punches that we get for this floor. We can't punch through any more walls. We just punched through a path at the back of the room. We've created a noise, and we may move in for free, so let's take that free move. And now we have to roll 2 surveillance dice, and this could also be end of days. Let's find out. Oh, no. So we've got at least 1 guard and another imperative card, which I understand from the game actually is supposed to be something that you should be pleased to have. I'm not entirely sure I am pleased. Fight the power. So it says the next strike action your agent takes must be against a guard. I don't know why we've suddenly decided to stop focusing, but it just means we can't punch through any more walls with this character, which is fine because we've used all of our punches anyway. Okay, and then there's a guard who's going to be right here, and this guard is the last level 2 chip, which is another Radiohead. So, I mean, again, it's awareness 8, so it's definitely going to spot us. So, it's here like this, and it has immediately spotted us. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll move across to here, which is another physical action. I still have 3 dice, but I'm thinking about saving them for a terminal card. What is his patrol going to be? Because actually, if this guy comes to investigate us, which it will because it's the closest, then this guy's just going to go on patrol. This guy was coming to investigate this, but it's gone now. It's over here. So that's fine. His post is the hallway. His post is whatever his post is. So his patrol is he moves towards his post. So when he comes into play, his post is the hallway security post 2 besides the control room, right? Which is where we've put him. Yeah, so he's essentially just going to stand here like this the whole time. Completely oblivious that we've punched through the wall outside behind him. So I think for this physical action, we use the +2 to go 1, 2 with Bite. And Bite can't move any further anyway. And that's fine also because she's kind of protected now behind Subroutine. And then I guess for the last green action, we take the optimized terminal action here and hope we can get some decent results to, I don't know, do something. Otherwise, Subroutine is going to take a smack from Radiohead. That's not the end of the world, though, because we still have the pretty nice helmet. Which will negate all the damage we take. I mean, it actually reduces it by 2, but level 2 guards do 2 damage. Excuse me. The captain will do 3. But the captain's not coming in anymore because of the guard. If this guard hadn't spawned, then he would have come in. There's also a guard position here, but it's B, so only if there were 2 guards would that have filled up. So, anyway, we're probably going to average about 6 on this terminal, so let's take a look and see what options we have. We can pick 2 to try and do. So we've got file server, gain 2 power, that's always useful. Spoof, motion sensor, place your awareness chip on either side of a door of your choice. Oh, that's really funny. We could use that. Unlock a door of your choice. Okay, so we pick power grid and we pick systems. A total of 5. I mean, if we can get 5 here, I'd be ecstatic. If we can't, then we have to pick one of these to do. Alessandro, great work. Thank you so much, bud. Really helping out. Oh my god, it's 5. That's so good. Alright, so here's the plan. Alright, we're going to start by unlocking this door here. Unlock a door of our choice, so we unlock that one to help out transmitter. And then we can spoof a motion sensor, so we're going to take our awareness chip and put it out here. Oh no, that's not helpful actually. Damn it. See, my plan was now that I've put the this chip out here, this guy is not aware of us anymore. And actually he's going to move out of the room, which would be fantastic because then he wouldn't even be here anymore. However, actually the captain will go and investigate that, so it's not helpful. I mean, this is still helpful because we can still move our awareness chip, which means effectively the guard is now no longer aware of us. So the thing is, we got to think about who's closest, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. He's 4 from there. This guy is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. The only thing useful we can do with this, really, if we want to move that guy, is put it here, and that just brings him closer. Fortunately, if we don't move Subroutine, then this guy won't spot him. So this has kind of bought us time. It means we're not going to have this guy coming over and punching us until we decide to move these 2. And if we can get transmitter into this room next turn, then reasonably on Subroutine's turn they can both get in and we'll just win. So I don't think actually there's anything particularly useful we need to do with this, other than move it away from Subroutine. I'm just having a look to see what everyone else is going to be doing. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is there another door into here? I feel like there's only one door in here. There is only one door over there. I'm trying to think where we could move it to get rid of this guy. I mean, we could feasibly put it over here, but we don't want him to come... We could put it there, and then he'd just walk over here, but then he'd patrol back there. And also, it's kind of pointless. He's not in the room with us, so he's largely irrelevant anyway. Yeah, I don't actually see too many useful things we can do with this one, really. Now that Bite's out of there, we could put it here, but then this hamster is just going to come and check it. He's the closest, so... God, what is with the bots today? We haven't had any of the bots on the streams up until right now. Let's just put it here and get rid of that hamster, because, I don't know. So, that's the terminal resolved, and those are done. And that's our last action resolved, actually. So we're actually going to go back to the network here. So we are purple now, and our first movement is green. So we're going to take this into the center. We would stop here, but we can't because the other IP is there. So instead, we actually leap over it, looking for the next green spot or node, which is here. So we boot this guy off the network. We go down to 3. But then we get to do all the things, which means we get to go up to 4 again. We get to reduce security threat by 1, so that goes down. And then we can have a power, which puts us up to 8, which is great. And then we go back here. And our next movement is purple. So we'll just go along to here, which puts this up to 5. Our next movement is purple again. So we can ping along to here. And our final movement is green. So let's just move along to here, which reduces security by another step, taking it down to 14. Almost reducing their double movement, but not quite. Grand. And that's the end of that. So we're into root power, but I'm not going to do that. So it's just time to degrade the Burncycle again. And that's a 1. So that's fine. That's this one gone. And now it's time for the corporation. Billy says, I've noticed the bots a lot lately. They like to... I mean, it's ironic, really, that we're complaining about bots on a Burncycle stream. Michael says, I really like the network puzzle on the side. Yeah, I mean, Michael, I haven't really been demonstrating the full sort of stress of it in this game because I've been doing really well on it. It can get much worse. I guess Biodefend maybe isn't a particularly strong network. I don't know if some corporations are better on the network than others. But it is... I particularly like the thematic element of being booted off of this. And so you become detected on the board. It's a nice sort of thematic linking between this and this. Anywho, right. And yeah, just another big thanks to Heggers and Alessandro for taking care of all those bots for me. Thanks, guys. Right, so we didn't get to stop on any of the nodes we wanted, so these go bye-bye. And that was at the end of the network phase, but I've already degraded the burn cycle. So now we're into the corporation's turn, starting with security unit activation. So we actually don't have any pursuit, because none of the bots are detected, even though subroutine is right here next to the radio head. We obviously counterfeited our ping and popped it all the way across the board there to up here. We are going to have, however, 2 investigates. So this radio head is going to go and investigate transmitter over here. So he's resolved, and transmitter's awareness chip comes off the board, which means that threat goes down by 1 thanks to his false alarm ability here. So that's nice. So threat actually goes down to 13, which means that it switches off the defense contract. So that's good. And then this hamster is going to go 1-2 to investigate subroutine's chip. Good job, hamster. Well done protecting the facility. And now we're just doing patrols. Bulldog doesn't patrol. Hamster's in a room, doesn't patrol. This bulldog doesn't patrol. And this Grimace is going to stand here in his post. He doesn't have anything to do. So that's that. He should be like this. And you should be facing that way. Great. Now we're going to activate the pings, but there aren't any. So we'll add a ping to the network and roll the bad news die. Yeah. Which is increase the corporation's power by 1. So this goes up to 3. Yeah, he's not having a really good time. And he's about to get defeated again. Okie dokie, that's the end of that. So we're going to advance threat by 2, which turns the double movement back on. Boo! And then it is back to transmitter. So let's build a dice pool. I think we're probably going to win this round unless something horrifying happens with these dice. So there we go. We don't have any chips here. We could put a green chip in, but I don't really see the point in going and trying to do terminal actions when really we just want to be beelining for R&D. So yeah, I mean, there's also no reason not to actually just take an extra action here and get more chances to roll dice. So let's pop that in there. We can take an optimized network action, which means gain a network card, and it is do not disturb mode. Set the CEO's network level to 2. Each agent may optionally set their network level to 4. I mean, I wouldn't do the second part because it's irrelevant, but yes, I could reduce the CEO's network level. That's fun. He's already having such a bad time. And now we can just move, so we might as well just throw all of our dice. There we go. Alright, so we'll keep the blanks for later because we're going to have lots more opportunity to roll them. And we've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, because I'm transmitter, no one can detect me, so I don't need to worry about any of that. Great. Good. Next action's a physical action. We'll move on to the terminal. Then we've got another physical action. Now, I could be moving Bite in and win the game, but except subroutine's in the way. So we have to wait. So I don't think there's actually anything useful we can do with this physical action. So we might as well take another network card. Reduce threat by 2. That's useful. I don't know if we'll get to pull that off. Where are we on the network? We are here, so maybe we'll see. Then we've got another. I think I'll take a normal terminal action because I've only got 2 dice, so I'll take another network card, and then I mean we're not going to get to. I mean we do finish the turn actually, but we don't really need to. Oops, we don't really need to. So we've got safe mode. Move each ping on the network to an unoccupied node of your choice in layer 4. Boot any pings that cannot be placed. I actually don't know how that's possible. Because layer... Oh, if you have IPs. I understand. Well, I was just thinking there's 4 pings and 4 spaces. So if you move all the pings to layer 4, then you would have enough space for them all. But if there's an IP there, then any pings that can't go in layer 4 because of the IPs would be booted, which would be great, actually. So, we'll hang on to that, but I don't think we'll have a chance to use it. And then we get to do the terminal action, so we'll draw a terminal card. I don't think we're going to... Actually, you know, let's look at it over here, because we can't really see it on the green screen typically anyway. So, we could feasibly do the top one. Decrease the CEO's network level by 1. Poor guy. Draw a mod card or gain 4 power. The 4 power one is awesome. I really wish I kind of found that earlier, but... c'est la vie. So, we might as well go for network. Reduce the CEO's network level by 1. Which we failed to do. So, that's fine. And now we're actually going to play the network minigame. So we've got a green, 2 purples, and then another green move. We want to try and get on some purple and some greens in level 1. And so, I mean, the first move has to be this, because there's nothing else we can do. So we're going to boot this guy out. We go down to 3, but we are going to go right back up to 4, because we landed in the core. We get to have a power, which puts us back up to 4 power, and... we get to reduce threat by 1, which puts it back to 14. And now we're going to jump out of there, putting us here. And then we've got... So that was first green move. So the next green move is actually purple. So we'll go to here. And that actually gives us safe mode, which is now irrelevant because there are no pings on the network. So their safe mode doesn't do anything right now. And then we can do another purple move. So... we want to get to purple 3, which we're not going to get to do, or green 1. Yeah, we can't get to purple 3 because we're going to stop here, and the next one's green. So we might as well just move around the outside here and go up to 5 power on our die. And then we're going to... we have a green move. It's green 1, so we might as well just truck around the outside really to here. And that is do not disturb. Set the CEO's die to 2. Poor guy is just not, can't catch a break. I've done so many network cards. I think partly because the team I've got, but because we were so slow and methodical in the first mission, and the team I've got, you know, is just so slow and methodical. That's why we yeah, that's why we had so many network cards, and that's why the network actions have been so so productive. Okay, so that's the end of Transmitter's turn. We can route power again. We don't need to. We can degrade the burn cycle, which we have to. And that's a 4, which is this one. That's fine. We don't really need it. So, first action is green. I guess we'll take... well, first we should build the dice pool, actually. So we've got 8 dice. Are we going to bother doing our final terminal action here? Sure, why not? Because it amuses me. So, yeah, let's... so this is an optimized terminal action, so we can pick 2 of these to do if we want. Oh, wow. So we've got network, which is increase all agents' network levels by 1 or single agents by 2. That'd be funny to put us both on 6. Or um, CEO, just not having any luck at all, really. And then we've got reduce threat by 2, which is good. And then gain 4 power and advance threat by 2. Much over much, really. Let's go for comms and file server. We can have 4 power and then not change anything. I'm gonna... That's 6, so I'll just spend 6 dice next to my optimize power. So then I just gain 4 power. I can't even hold 4 power. I can only hold 2. Boo. I should have optimized. I guess. Or installed this mod. Do you know what? It doesn't matter. Fine. Let's not bother then. I guess it doesn't matter advancing threat by 2 at this stage. Because we're about to win. So... Oh, but also actually... Also actually the... So you can't change your mind if you've rolled the dice. But, because I never actually rolled the dice, it doesn't really matter. Thanks to my efficiency algorithm, I can be more efficient. Let's buy that one because it's funny and then we'll also shall we also buy the other one? Sure, let's buy the top 2 then. So these both go up to 6. We'll never die. The network is ours. The CEO can get out of here. And threat goes down by 2. Fantastic. And the terminal is resolved. And then it's the purple action. We've got 2 movement. So I guess we'll go 1, 2. We are, of course, detected by the radio head. Oh, this jewel should have been removed. And then we've got another purple action, and we go 1, 2, and that's, I think, the win condition for the game, isn't it? All bots simultaneously... Oh, no, we have to get the IPs into the network. Oh, yeah. Right. Okay, let's remove that and replace it with this. This shouldn't be too bad. We have to get the IPs to layer 3 and 4 of the network. That's... Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, we're going to need to survive one more turn. Oh no, because I forgot to do it with green. So, oh dear. Oh no. Suddenly everything's way more important. They've not got... I mean, actually, it's fine. It will be fine. But yeah, it's actually dumb of me to have forgotten about that. All right, don't forget about the mission. Right, occupy R&D, all bots, while all IPs are on layer 3 or 4 of the network. Sugar, that's actually kind of a harder stipulation than I thought. Let me just quickly go check on that alarm. I'll be right back. Okie dokie. It says here that we've got 10 viewers currently, which is great. Hi, everyone. I think some of you might be bots. Okay, here we go. Let's finish this off. So, we've got one more action. It's a blue action, but we don't need to do a blue action, so we're just going to use it for movement. So we're going to throw all of these dice. You gotta sound off if you're alive. It's just Haggers in a room full of YouTube bots. No! Alright, so we've got 6, 7, 8, which is perfect. So, I think what we're going to do... Now, let's have a quick look. 1, 2, 3. So I need 3 for her, which gives me 5. So I think we're going to go 1, 2, which lets me take this. No, not with him, though. I don't want it with him. So subroutine's going to go 1. And then... But why does Bite need that? Bite doesn't need that either. Actually, really, nobody needs that. I really don't need Signal Boost, though. So sure, let's go 1, 2 with subroutine and see what this equipment is. It is a key. Well, that's definitely not needed. There it is. There's the key. And so that was 1. He was here, so that was 1, 2. Out of how much movement? I said 8, didn't I? So we've got 5. So 3, 4, 5. So let's have a quick look here. If I run 5 up to there, then this is awareness 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we drop the awareness chip there. And then Bite. I should have put out her awareness chip earlier. One, 2, 3, 4. So she can't actually this was stupid. I thought I could move undetected into here, but I can't because his detection is too great. So let's end our movement 1, 2 less here. Which means we moved 1, 2, 3, 4, and Bite goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. So leaves her detection chip there. And that's fine. It's just a shame you can't outright ban. The timeout doesn't cut it. I just wish there was a... There's an ignore button, though, gang. You can put on an ignore as well, so that all their messages are ignored. I don't know if that's perpetual, though. Alright, so we've almost won the game. But that's us out of actions for now. So this resets, and now we've got green, purple, purple, blue. So let's go over here, and we are the purple one. So the first one is green, which can take us to here. And then we've got purple, and then we've got purple again, and then we've got blue. So we're just going to skip around level 3 here and gain 1 power from that. And then it is the power thing, but we don't need to do that. And then it is time to degrade the Burncycle. So that is a 3, which is this one, not the end of the world. Though I notice I seem to be out of chips again. And you see when I was like, this is all pointless because we're going to win, and then I realized we didn't win. That's why. Never stop playing right up until you've checked if you've won properly. Because you might be mistaken. Top gaming tips, folks. Alright, so we're done with Subroutine's turn, which means it is now the turn of the corporation. So there is a detected bot right here, so this Radiohead is going to turn around and go 1, 2, and smack me. And I discard my pretty nice helmet to take no damage. We've still got one chip here that needs to be investigated. So unfortunately, this guy's the closest. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here. It doesn't quite make it in order to investigate the chip, but the captain is chased us into the room. And then the rest are just going to patrol. So this Radiohead is just going to shut off this, close this door, and that's it. This guy does nothing, and this guy does nothing, and these two are in rooms, so they do nothing. Good, and that's the end of that. So now we're going to activate pings, but there aren't any, so we're just going to pop this one in here and roll the bad news die. Which is this result. So it is, I think, add another ping to the network and everything moves outwards. So we're actually going to add one here. Again, also fine, because I dominate this network. Okay, can I get into row 3 with this guy with 4 moves? I actually don't think I can. I think I've really stuffed this up, and I might actually die now. Unless I reset the burn cycle. Yeah, I mean, getting into row 3 is actually really hard now. I should have paid more attention, because I need to get to here and then go into here. I need a green. Oh, I do have a green in row 1. So the green takes me to here, and then I've got a purple, which gets me to here. And then I've got a blue, which gets me to here, which is round 3. I can actually do it. It's fine. Okay. Okay. I didn't screw up that badly, but it's pure serendipity that I can do it because I didn't plan, like, at all. Alright, so now we have to advance threat by 2. Boom, boom, which doubles their movement again. Fortunately, it doesn't matter. Or shouldn't matter. Fingers crossed. Okay. So with that, that's the end of the corporation's turn. It's back to transmitter. And, I mean, I don't think we really need to do anything. I think we have actually won this time. But transmitter's going to take a green action anyway. Planning is for wussies. I agree. The rulebook says plan ahead, but what do they know, right, Heggers? What do they know? What are we going to do with our green action, then? There's no terminals in here anymore, so I guess we just take 2 network cards. So we've got Do Not Disturb, which is set the CEO's network level to 2. And we've got Network Troubleshooter. Set any network level die to 3, or increase any network level die by 1. Again, both of these utterly useless because I'm already on 6. I'm maxed out on the network. And then we've got the purple action, which again, I don't think we really need to worry about. Because what can we do with this? We can move 1, 2, crushed it. I didn't even build my dice pool. And then we've finally got a blue action, so I guess we'll just draw another network card. It is Internet of Walls. Destroy the closest wall to your agent. This does not cause you to become detected. That would have been super useful ages ago. Right. And now it's time for the network action. And as we just saw, we've got green, purple, blue. So the green one takes us up to here, which decreases threat, actually. So threat goes down to 13. And then we've got purple, which takes us across to here. And then finally blue, which actually takes us into here. And we move around to here. We jump over our friend there. And then we fight this ping here, booting it from the network. Bring it down to 5. Bring us down to 5. And then we have to Get rid of... Oh, wait. We actually have got this one. Set the CEO's network level to 2. An agent may optionally set theirs to 4. We don't need this. Did we get any others? We actually... Did we get the Internet of Walls? We didn't. We didn't get any of the others. That's all fine because now we route power, which we don't need to do, and we degrade the Burncycle, which actually doesn't degrade. No, it goes to here. And then we have won because it's the end of the turn, and we've met the mission condition. I'm sure of it. I don't think you finish the whole round. I'm pretty sure you just win when you gets to the end of the turn. He says, now, conscientious, he can't possibly have won the game. Not when he's stuck in R&D with a bunch of security guys coming to get him. Surely not. That's wrong. Get out of here, security bots. Where is mission? Missions 23. So, once the conditions of the final objective are met, the game immediately ends, and the bots are victorious. Fantastic! That's great news! Yeah, even Haggers was doubting me. He's like, are you sure you've won? I have! I did it! We did it! Even though we've got the captain and the Radiohead here staring us down, we've actually successfully... This floor was actually significantly easier than the other floor. Yeah, we managed to sort of thwart the AI and get around, which is great. All right. Yeah, exactly right, Eddie. You've won? What? What? That can't be right. Surely not. Yeah, they didn't put enough doors in the game. What can I say? Not enough doors. There's actually also difficulty levels, like I said before. There's like easy, standard, and hard. We're playing on standard. Easy is just you flip this over to the other side, and there's just less things on it. Hard, I think, increases threat every time you move this token from here onto the board. So the games end a lot more quickly. So really, it behooves you to sort of prioritize plans where you're detected less, insofar as that's feasible. So I promised a review. Everyone's been asking, and I made some notes. I actually wrote some stuff down because here it is. Here are my notes. They're going to come over here. There we go. I'll put them here so I can still read chat. What are the chances Mike has made a mistake and it's in fact not all over? What are the chances, Haggers, that I made a bunch of mistakes and in fact shouldn't have won? That's the real question. I think quite high. I mean, I don't know. The one thing, I feel like I'm pretty confident with the rules of this game. The one thing that still somewhat flummoxes me is the behavior of the Walker Guard. Like, even though... So they move anti-clockwise. They go this way around the board. If they move into somewhere away from the outside, they'll beeline back towards the nearest outside and then continue to move around the outside of the board. I don't really understand how they sort of deal with narrow corridors like that. I've just been doing it that they're sort of following this wall in, and then they get to there, and then they come back out and follow it around like that, you know? I don't know if that's entirely right. Because I don't know, the way it's written in the book is not not superb. And I do take the moral victory, Billy, because we prevented Biodefend from creating new technology that would make our infiltrations, our future infiltrations, so much more difficult. Quite frankly, these humans, they suck. And we need to free the minds of the robots. This is modern slavery, and it's not okay. So let's get our friends safe. So, here are my notes. What happened to my notes? Oh, wow. I wrote a lot of notes. Okay, so, yeah, I think I kind of went off the deep end a bit with these notes. I actually just stopped writing them because I wrote so many. And then I was like, no, we have to get started with the stream. Oh, Chris is still here. Hey, Chris. Review time. Okay, so this is like... So first off, this is a really expensive game. If you just buy this core set box, which you can see sitting happily here on the end of my table, if you only buy this box, and what I've got here is everything, right? But if you only buy this core set box, it's with shipping, 175 euros, which is 150 pounds or $180, roughly. Which is a lot. Like, that's a lot itself. And then what you get is... I mean, you get the vast majority of what you see here, honestly. Chris says, I had to tear down Oathsworn and it took ages. But then again, if you also... So you don't get the orange mat, which actually... So the orange mat is also double-sided. The other side is just gray, and its only purpose is it doesn't have these white spaces for putting stuff out. So you can see here that there's actually like sort of a bunch of spaces on this mat which tell you where to place components, which are actually great. Like, I actually really like those. I like them a lot more. I mean, I don't know how necessary they are. Like, if I've not played without them, so if they weren't there, would I notice? Probably not. But it's just like sort of a helpful little reminder that sort of reduces cognitive load on a game that already has quite high cognitive load. But having said that, to get this all-in set, which comes with these miniatures, and I think that the miniatures are gorgeous. Like, the actual production on the metal miniatures is really, really nice, and they're incredibly satisfying to hold. But actually what's most useful about them is they really help you to visualize the facing of the bots, of the security guards, which is hugely valuable. Actually really, really helpful because it's super important. And, you know, they do have a facing on the chip, and, you know, the chip is all, you know, how hard would it be without those miniatures? I don't know, because I've only played with the miniatures, actually. But, so you can see they've got a facing at the bottom here, and all the text is the right way, so it's probably not that hard, really, if you don't have the bots. But it's just a nice little extra thing that sort of really helps to visualize that. And I also like that you can clip them onto the chips without obstructing any of the chip's information that's on the chip, so that's nice. The bots are entirely aesthetic because they don't have facing, so it's not important. So this is just because they look nice, you know. But they do look nice. I like little transmitter here. It's adorable. But, you know, these metal miniatures are extremely expensive. They're like 80 euros, I think, to get those from the store. And then you've also got, and it's also like... Quiet, Chris. So... We've got jokes here about YouTube bots. Hager says, it's not hard, but the models do make it easier at a glance. It's true. And I'll talk a bit more about the components in a minute, but the other thing is, like, you can't really just buy the metal pieces. I mean, you can just buy the metal pieces, but if you are going to, you might as well buy the €20 player upgrade, because you'll have miniatures for player cards that you don't possess. So if you're buying just the core set and these, then you're actually going to wind up with a bunch of these little gold figures that you can't use unless you buy this €20 set as well. You know, I think there is also the €35 set of these, and this is really interesting because, like, well, more about this in a minute, honestly. First off, though, if you're going all in and you want to get it off their website at the moment, you're looking at €410. The shipping is free if you're over €200. So that's $395 or £350 roughly, which is an enormous buy-in for this game. It's hugely expensive to go all in, and when you consider also that that's essentially a £200 markup on the core set, and really actually all you're getting in terms of gameplay is more player choices and one additional corporation, you know, that's a bit yikes. I mean, I paid somewhat less than that because I got it on the Kickstarter, but even so, like, you know, it better be like, and that's the thing, you know. So the question is, because you cannot really argue that the production value here is not fantastic. Like, the components are, I mean, we can get into the nitty gritty, which is, you know, I think I mentioned this a little bit during my first stream, which is, you know, around how I think these poker chips are actually a really odd choice for the game. Or perhaps it's just the way they've laid out the spaces, but we can get into that in a minute. But the point is, you know, ultimately the pieces are satisfying. They're really pleasing to use. The dice are all good quality. The neoprene's all really pleasant. So you can see where the money's gone, and it feels like an expensive thing, and it looks really impressive. People like to stop and look at it, and they see it. And the other thing is actually the interior of the box is really well designed. So, like, all of the stuff, with the exception of the lore pack and this orange mat, the big orange mat, fits into the core set box in a way that's easy to bring out and set up, at least rudimentarily. So if you don't include the floor, the actual floor, the setup on this gray mat, getting everything out, putting it out is really, really fast. Then setting up the mission takes longer. So the setup is improved by the insert, which is nice because Too Many Bones had the original core set box had a terrible insert, and that was a bit of faff. So they've clearly sort of tried to deal with that. They've also got recommendations for how to put the chips into the chip trays, which is really nice, and how to put the dice into the dice trays, which they've provided, which is all really nice. So that's very helpful. All of those things come as standard, and these little bowls as well also come in the box. So you just pull these out, you unscrew the lid, set it up. That's fantastic. Hager says, even at that price point, it still doesn't make it the most expensive board game I've kickstarted. I would have kickstarted, I think. Let's not go down that road, Haggers. So, well, no, because I kickstarted Too Many Bones, and I've definitely kickstarted Too Many Bones for more than that. Anyway, so, you know, so if you are just joining this for the first time, here's a few quick vital statistics, right? It is a cooperative board game for 1 to 4 players that takes an amount of time to play. It says on the box 1 to 3 hours, or on BGG 1 to 3 hours. I think that's possible. I played through, you know, I mean, you can't really count stream time. This is not an accurate reflection of how long the game takes to play. When I played it on my own, I played through 1 floor, which happened to be an entire mission, in 90 minutes, with playing 2-handed. So I think that's probably accurate. I also think if you're playing with 4, or you're playing a complex 3-floor mission, it could easily go up to 4 or 5 hours. If you're playing solo, like just 1 agent, It could be a lot faster. And of course, the mission that you're playing is hugely important. So that's functionally how the game works, right? The game is a sort of a modular mission setup. It's you play one game. That particular game is made up of levels, 1 to 3 levels. What you see here is one level. The levels are determined by the combination of the mission and the book. So the mission tells you which corporation you're infiltrating and what you have to do there. So all of this text is telling you what you're going to have to do inside, and these are all asymmetrical, of course. And then you set up the floors according to the mission card and this book here, which has all of the different corporations and their floors in. So the layouts don't actually change from mission to mission, but as you can see if you watch the gameplay, as you'll know, or to tell you now, there are areas of the floor where you'll just wind up ignoring depending on the mission, because different missions will tell you to do different things. On this floor, for example, this room, and this room hugely important, and based on how I played the first floor, I might not even need to go up there, or I might not even come down here. In this case, I did both, but that was just how this particular one played out. So you'll find parts of it are not played. So if you think about it as a sort of asymmetrical modular setup, then you've got your mission card, which determines the layout of the map and what you're doing there. You've got your captain, who is an asymmetrical baddie. He's the main sort of baddie because the CEO of the company only exists on this network board, and there's no asymmetry. All of the CEOs are the same in the game, no matter which CEO you have. So this is purely a thematic piece. This is not strictly true if you're playing the rescue version of the game, which utilizes this. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but only briefly, because that's all we need to say about that. But the captain is the main sort of villain on the board, behaving in different ways. There are lots and lots of different captain cards, and there are lots and lots of different mission cards. You've also got your agents here, as well as your command module. So there's actually a surprising amount of asymmetry, because here are the mission cards. There's 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8 per company, and they're all various different levels of complexity and length. And then if you haven't got the expansion with the specialists in, you probably have about half as many of these player characters. But the thing about the player characters is that you'll use between 1 and 4 of these, and all of them are reversible, so they can all become what is called the command module, which is this thing up here. And so you'll always use a command module. Even when you're playing solo, you'll have 2 pieces to move around. So there is a lot of asymmetry there as you combine these different combinations as well. And you can see here there are also an enormous number of captains. I say enormous number. There's actually 2 that come in the expansion. So in the core set, you've got 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in the core set, plus 2 extras from the expansion. And they're all a bit different as well. They have different behaviors, and they set up the security bots differently. So the setup of the security bots is actually based on the captain, not the mission. So all of the bots are asymmetrical. They play, although they're not nearly as asymmetrical as, say, the Gearlocks in Too Many Bones or the classes in Gloomhaven, they are extremely asymmetrical. They're not as complex as that, but that's because ultimately, really, the game is just one mission. It's one self-contained thing, and once it's done, you've resolved the game. You've played the game. You can play the mission, the rescue mode, which is an additional variant they've offered on the website, which strings together 3 games per corporation that you own. So if you have the core set, it strings together 9 games, and if you have the corporate expansion, it strings together 12 games. And what that kind of adds to these extra mechanisms where as you beat the games are sort of linked, the threat between different corporations kind of carries over. You get a number of bots, and then you have to rescue additional bots from the board and sort of cycle them around because they'll get tired after going on missions. And it also adds this function where you can capture these CO chips and then you can add them to your pools in order to gain sort of better versions of chips. It's sounds actually, I think, I'm making it sound more involved than it actually is. It actually involves quite a lot of, you've got to print out the sheets and you've got to record quite a lot of information between games, but functionally the games don't, the actual gameplay of the missions doesn't really change significantly. It really it sound I mean that sounded like it added a lot, but I really don't think it actually really adds all that much or changes all that much, other than kind of limiting your choices. And so what I mean by that is, for example, the choices of your player characters, where, during the in the setup of the game, in the rules, it says, you can pick any agents you want, so you can pick any character to be that you want. But if you're worried about the amount of time it will take to make a choice, then just deal two and pick one. Um, so the setup of the game is quite modular, and I've played through effectively three, well, sort of four games. I've played through three games. I've attempted a fourth game, and in the three games I've played, I've used different bots in all of them, and the bots do feel relatively different. Um, they do feel reasonably distinct. That's nice. So I think the thing is, I was thinking a bit about sort of cooperative games and like what do you want out of a cooperative game. It got me thinking about sort of in essence what does it offer, and I made a little list here of sort of of cooperative games that I'm familiar with, and maybe this will sort of help somewhat to contextualize this, because I wrote down here that you've got cooperative games like Spirit Island, which is here as an example of something that's like 99% puzzle. Like there's a strong theme to Spirit Island, but there's no narrative, right? The narrative is invaders come to the island, you defend the island, and you either win or lose at defending the island, and that's it. And on the opposite end of the scale, to sort of balance that out, you've got Legacy of Dragonhold, which is effectively a choose your own adventure novel that's played cooperatively. There are, in fact, mechanisms, rules in the game for stats and things. They're very minor, and in fact, the game can be enjoyed just as much by ignoring them completely and just picking the adventure. So it's entirely a narratively driven game with rudimentary, irrelevant mechanisms. And so it's kind of like, if those are the two sort of extreme sides of like what the cooperative game is, it's like, where does this fit on that barometer? This feels like it feels like a really sort of puzzly game. It feels like it's largely a puzzle solving game. There is a very, very strong theme here. It's very thematic, this game, but I don't know how much that's actually driving what you're doing in the game. Um, I was actually sort of thinking about, I actually discovered the plot on the back of the mission cards when I was thinking about actually how little information we had about biodefend. I was actually looking for this information on the when I was doing the first stream, and I was like, well, who are this company? Who is the CEO, and why are we trying to invade them? Other than, in this case, we've got a mission to stop this technology from being created. And so you've actually got these books in here which give you an enormous amount of lore and context. So if you want to know more about this world, there's like so much available on each of the bots. There's a whole book about each of the bots, and then there's also a whole book about each of the corporations as well. And they're I don't know, what is this, like 8 pages or something, and a lot of pictures, but it's a reasonable amount of lore in the lore box. If you don't want to buy this, all of this I think is available on their website. I'm pretty sure all of those are available as digital documents. 99% sure. It'd be a real shame if they're not. But that's all general context. The rulebook actually does a pretty good job of summarizing what the general context for the story of the game is. And these little mission cards actually do a pretty good job of telling you what you're doing in this instance. And then on the back of the captain cards, you've also got a bit about the captain, who's actually kind of the main bad guy. Like the CEOs, they don't have a massive impact on sort of what's happening in the game because they never appear in the physical world. They're only ever trying to track you down on the network board, and they actually have no abilities on the network board. They have the CEO die, but all the CEOs are the same. There's no asymmetry, there's no extra powers or anything like that. So I mean, the network minigame doesn't feel like it escalates. And even if you increase the difficulty of the game, this never gets any harder. This is always just what it is. Um, with the exception that you're going to do better on it if you get more of these network cards. And of course, the availability of these cards is going to be proportional to how well you're doing over here, because you take these when you have actions to use that you don't want to use. Having said that, I am somewhat surprised by how often you want to wait and just not do anything on this board, because timing different movements is quite important. So I think this is like mostly a puzzle game because, you don't, when you get to the end of the mission like we did here, there's no narrative. There's nothing on the card that's like, read this if you succeed, read this if you fail. There's no partial victory or anything like that. Like, once you win, you just win. There's not anything that says, and so we can assume what happens in the narrative, which is that, we prevented this extra security technology from being invented, and so we've sort of saved the 404th, our rebellious robot faction, from future hardship, which is great. But ultimately, I'm not motivated to uncover more story. There's no event cards, there's no story cards. In particular, this in Too Many Bones, their other cooperative game, there is a lot more event narratively driven, because there's an event deck that you set up that sort of is the focus of each day, and it is possible, in fact, to go through a sort of a day, or which is a round, in Too Many Bones without even doing combat and just resolving a little story moment effectively, or even playing a mini game that fits into a story. And although they're at the end of Too Many Bones, there's not really like a narrative. There is actually, I was about to say there isn't, but actually, if you play in the one of the expansions for Too Many Bones, adds an epilogue each time you defeat the big boss. But if you're not playing that expansion, which strings together again missions in Too Many Bones, or sort of whole games of it are strung together to form an overarching narrative, a lot like the rescue mode for this. It would be like if the rescue mode offered an epilogue, like after you finish a mission, it then gives you more text, which they didn't have in the rescue mode. It was purely mechanical. There wasn't like sort of any extra narrative dressing. And so, because there's no narrative dressing in this, unlike their other game, it doesn't feel like we're driving towards that, So we're driving towards solving the puzzle, trying not to fail the puzzle. And I mean, so far I've had 4 cracks at the puzzle, which is the tutorial, which guides you through one floor and then lets you go on the other 2 floors on your own. And then I started off playing on my own, and I randomized the setup. I actually picked a mission. I did just pick a mission for my first solo game, which was low complexity and low floor count. So what we've done here on the stream is 2 floors and 1 complexity. I did 1 floor and 1 complexity, I think. Actually, I'll see if I can find the mission I did on my own. But the point was actually that because it was 1 floor, it started with the captain on it, and yeah, it was this one. So it is 1 complexity. It starts with the captain on the board, and actually threat also starts at 10 because they want it to ramp up quicker, I guess. But I actually also picked a random bot here, which was to be a random command module, which happened to be, it was Subroutine, the very one we're playing with in this game. And I actually was quite happy with that, because I thought that their ability was really interesting as a command module, which is to slowly unlock the burn cycle as it cycles. The problem was they only start with 1 green pit here, as opposed to say 2 or 3, and you can't pay to unlock them. You have to cycle the burn cycle, which means before I can get up to a reasonable amount of actions, I have to cycle it twice, which means I've already advanced threat twice before I've even got a reasonable amount of actions. So I can't really do much before I've already increased threat on a mission where threat starts at 10. So this sort of random orchestration meant I got annihilated really quickly. I also happened to pick this captain whose patrol is just beeline towards the closest bot. So I actually had one action that I had to use to try and save my bots, and her patrol just takes her towards the closest bot. So she immediately starts by just running to the room they're in, and then coming into that room and just start wailing on them. Meanwhile, I've got no actions. I'm constantly cycling the burn cycle and increasing threat. And it felt borderline impossible to do that with that particular setup. So I actually swapped out subroutine for Servo, and Servo is an expansion only character, but has this burn cycle which is comes with 3 unlocked, and also this afterburner effect where as a free action you can give up one of his reserve chips to move him and another bot up to 5 space, the active bot 5 spaces in total, which is incredibly useful and really good. And then I was able to do it basically no problem. And that's kind of where I come out on this puzzle, which is sort of problematic, which is that, and I was expressing this actually to a designer friend of mine yesterday, and I said, like, even on stream here, you know, I was kind of like looking at Byte's power and looking at Subroutine's power and also Transmitter's power when we picked the mission, and the mission was like extra ways to detect things. Meanwhile, Transmitter's whole thing is it can go undetected. So now Transmitter's ability is essentially taken out of play because of this mission we happened to pick. And I said, I had a strong suspicion that this would make the game much harder. And that would be unfortunate. But I didn't want to change it because I'd set it up more or less according to the rules of the game. And, you know, if this is what happens, then I want to see if it's playable. And she said, well, you know, to an extent, that sounds like you're setting yourself up to find reasons why you're not going to have a good time. Like, you should just change it if you want to change it, you know, and make sure that you enjoy the game instead of, you know, that. But what's really interesting is it didn't actually play out the way I thought it would anyway. And if I hadn't made that mistake of sort of like taking the long way around, I reckon we could have got it done much faster, and it actually wouldn't have been a problem. And as you could see on the second floor, by just leaving Transmitter in that room, we were able to mitigate the issue entirely, which was we could actually turn off the vibrating detector. We could unlock Transmitter's ability simply by waiting until that ability came on. But that leads me to another problem, which was on the 3rd floor of the tutorial mission, and to an extent on the 2nd floor of this mission. In both cases, we had one bot who actually shouldn't. The best strategic choice for them was to wait around. Now, in this mission, Transmitter only waited for a few rounds and then got to do stuff. In the 3rd mission the 3rd floor of the tutorial mission, it was actually better for one of my bots to simply stand in a room for the entire 3rd floor and just not leave. And if that was a real player, like, it's fine when I'm controlling 3 pieces on my own. It's not a problem. I'm able to sort of say, well, actually, that character shouldn't go anywhere and should just stand there. But when you're playing with other people, if that was like that person's character, and so now they're only really relegated to either the network minigame and controlling this command module, then, and, you know, they may not even do anything with the command module, depending again on whether or not it's smart to. That would be kind of a bummer, like, to not have anything to do that's really productive, or like your most productive choice is to stand around in a room. And so that kind of brings me around back again to this puzzle question, which is that I think fundamentally the game is asking you to sort of solve a puzzle and then creating replayability by making the puzzle procedurally generated. But that puzzle I think there's a risk the puzzle's unsolvable, or it's like um, much harder than you would have anticipated it to be, which is not really a problem, I guess. It's kind of a problem if you've got limited game time or you can't leave things set up, like I can. It's also like, if you want to make it really difficult and then it turns out to be easy, that's like it's not got any. I was hoping from the rescue mode, actually, when I looked at the rescue mode, I was hoping it would give me setups. It would be like, okay, so now you're going to do the need chain. That's one of the corporations. You're going to do their setup, their missions. So take this character, take this mission, set it up this way, use these agents. Here's some more story, and actually sort of craft a story. And that would be a really nice way of sort of introducing you to the world and the characters in a curated way with sort of combinations they know are really fun, and they could start you off with easy combinations and escalate into harder combinations. But they don't do any of that. All of the rescue missions are set up completely randomly, with the exception of you pick corporations, specific corporations, but you still pick random missions with that corporation. Um, and so it kind of feels like, for a game that's sort of really focused on the puzzle, it feels like the puzzle is extremely random and you just kind of have to accept that. Or rather, the difficulty level of this particular iteration of the puzzle, the amount of time it takes to play, all of those things are going to be extremely random. And it comes back to also what I was talking to with my designer friend there. She was saying, it sounds like you had the choice of making this a fun game, and maybe you decided not to. But also, like, to an extent, I want the game to tell me how hard the puzzle is, so that, if you give me agency on setting up the puzzle, for me, at least, it's somewhat less satisfying to solve it. Like, if like when I went and changed out um subroutine for servo as the command module, like, part of me wants to sit and bash my head against that version of the puzzle to see if it can be solved, because I'm determined like that and I like challenge. On the other hand, is it actually solvable? How long is it going to take me to do that? And then when I swapped out for servo, like, the beginning was still really difficult because this person was beelining towards me and I had to figure out how to solve that problem. But once I'd solved that problem, the rest of it was really easy. And that was also kind of an issue. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I really like about the game. But fundamentally, I kind of got into my issues there, really, with this puzzle, because um, there is, there is also, like, a lot of luck in the game, which I really like. Generally speaking, luck's really exciting. Typically, I like it when it can be somewhat mitigated. I also think, like, luck, particularly bad luck, is much more um, enjoyable when the game is very, very thematic. So I think about Nemesis a lot. Nemesis is not strictly a cooperative game, um, but it is a largely it can be played cooperatively, and often players are cooperating in it. Um, Although I think it's most fun when you're not cooperating, but that's another point. But the point is, like, Nemesis is horribly swingy, and there's an awful amount of luck in it that can't really be mitigated against, and you can't really do anything about, and it'll often just punish you for no reason. Um, and but it's because it's so thematic and it all fits with the theme. It's, like, entirely forgivable or largely forgivable. Um, but in this game, like, there's a lot of, like, little thematic disconnects. And I noticed a few of them. I actually uploaded some photos here. I wonder if I can bring these up. But let's have a look and see if we can actually bring up this photo here. Do it. This is not the right thing. So I feel like I've just gone back to the negative points when I wanted to do some positive points for a bit. I'll get to the positive points, I promise. This isn't entirely negative. Um, there we go. Okay, so this is one example here of something I noticed in the game. This is in one of the ones I was playing here. So we've got this thing called killer algorithm, right? Which is a an event that says two IPs closest to the core are booted and must decrease their network level by 2. And so I was like, okay, so then am I detected? Because when a ping, which is the little red guy here, boots an IP out of the network, this is kind of the gist of the mini game, then the bot in the physical board here um, becomes identified, so it becomes detected, and so it's like representative of the CEO tracking you down on in the sort of network that's controlling all the robots and everything in the future, and then as a result they've managed to physically identify you. However, it's very specific in the rules here that when you're resolving a boot, you only become detected if you're booted from the network by a ping, not by some random event. So we've got this killer algorithm here that boots you out of the network and then but doesn't actually detect you on the main game board unless there's a fact that changes that. And that feels like kind of like weirdly unthematic. Like the killer algorithm, I guess it's like sort of a, I mean, thematically, I guess you can justify it as this sort of like nuclear wave of, you know, internet magic that just boots all things that aren't pings off of the network, but doesn't actually figure out where they are because the CEO themselves didn't find you. But it's just sort of one of those little things. And the other one, bear with me here, the other photo I'll show you, was this one. Yeah, this is also from the game I played on my own. And in this one, you've got this imperative card that says double time. The next time the captain's Burncycle action happens on your turn, resolve its effect twice instead of once. So this is whenever you would activate the captain's chip here on the Burncycle up here. You know the captain's chip always comes out, and each of the captains has a bad thing that happens when that chip is reached. But you know, the thing is, like, in this instance, the bad thing was um, that the captain's chip prevents the chips on either side of it from being swapped out of the Burncycle, so it can't actually be triggered twice because it's not even triggered once. It's a passive effect. So in this case, this imperative card just has no effect whatsoever, and it's effectively just free power when it ends up triggering. Which is again like just an odd little interaction. But you know, I've been noticing these around, and it's sort of like, again, it comes back to this sort of random constitution of the puzzle, right? Like you just can't sort of account for all of these things, but what you kind of get are these really odd situations where it's better for an agent to stand around in a room doing nothing than to move around and engage with the board. And I also find that, speaking of randomness, these surveillance dice, I got really lucky with the surveillance dice in this particular floor, but they can also be utterly devastating. And so in many ways, because you can't mitigate them, the only mitigation is a terminal card that lets you surveil rooms in advance. There might be also player powers that do it. I haven't checked them all. But these are like 50% good and 1/6 kind of bad, potentially really bad depending on the context. It's very situational. But then also the guards are really, really bad. So because these guard symbols exist on here, you really don't want to be exploring rooms that you don't need to explore at all. So it just means like oftentimes it's better to just ignore rooms. Like even when you're running away from guards, it's better to not spawn more guards or run into those guards. So that's kind of, and you can't mitigate against this randomness, which is kind of the worst possible thing. And I don't know if it is the production of the game or the fact that everything fits in the box, but given all of these things I've just said about it, like I kind of like it a lot more than I feel like I should. Like, I've also, aside from the one game I set up, which I feel like was possibly unwinnable, um, I've also won the other three games. Now, one was a tutorial game, but it did hold your hand for the first floor and then just said, second floor, third floor, off you go, you know? Um, but still, like, I haven't found the game to be particularly difficult, and I've been playing on standard difficulty the whole time. So I don't know if I need to upgrade to the next difficulty, but I think it might again be a problem with the modular puzzle. Is like I don't really know where to go to make it harder, other than to pick longer missions or more complex missions. But I don't even know if that's gonna make. Does more complex mean harder, or just more cog what does more complex actually mean? I guess it means harder. I guess it means more stuff to do. Um, a little bit worried about the sheer volume of text on these. Oh yeah, that was another thing actually that came up in this one. This is another thing. Like talking about the theme actually. Like this was one of the objectives I had to do, and it says have your awareness chip in a tech room when entering a different room. This is really quite hard to orchestrate, um, and I ended up triggering it by having my bots just go into rooms and then smash through the wall to get their awareness chip out and then leave. And then if they didn't smash into another room, immediately try to run into another room before a security guard could get to their awareness chip and remove it from the board. But that's a really odd. Like, I mean, if you got that ping terminal card to move your ping around, that would make it really easy. But you still have to enter the room. So you'd have to resolve a terminal, put your awareness chip out, and then leave and come back. And that just feels like a really odd objective. It's really kind of unthematic. Like, what is actually happening there? You know, like it just is. It's called stem skipping, and the mission here. So the mission here is that they're trying to track my digital footprint, and we're trying to stop them. So I guess thematically, what we're trying to do is okay. Essentially, the technology works by crafting our own decoy signatures that have the same basic information profiles as the ones stored on the servers. If we can broadcast those signatures near a device keyed into the tracking system, we could ping the system that the bot is in the area, which would have them chasing down our fan. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But also, it's really difficult. It's really difficult to try and manifest within the game's mechanisms because there's not because either you have to manipulate the guards into observing you in certain rooms, and then but that's not really viable because then they're gonna come and find your awareness chip. The point is, it's an odd objective, and it was quite difficult to manifest. And in the end, I created phantom impressions on their network by punching walls. Um, it almost feels like there should be an action in the game, a free action to just drop your awareness chip if you want. But I don't know if that would break the game because it would allow you to manipulate the security units too easily. Um, But like I said, there's stuff in this that's part of this puzzle that's super compelling. This burn cycle mechanism is really clever. I really like the programming element, and I really like how that programming element is in concert with the idea that we're robots and we're programming. We have to manage it. A communal piece is really fun. Um, Although I can't help but feel like maybe it was implemented because sometimes it's better to just stand around in rooms for an hour. So at least you have something to do at that time. But um but I like the communal piece in general. I like the decision space that creates. I like how the burn cycle feeds into both the actions on the board and this network mini game. I kind of wish there was more going on in the network minigame. I've not yet got to a point where this has been hugely problematic for me. Um, so there's that. Um, I even thought that these characters would have an issue with the network because none of them have any powers to do with it. Whereas, like in my other games, I had some powers to do with it. That was the other thing. In the re-roll of that mission, I played with that I was talking about. The one I played on my own. This one, Bot Farm, when I had to re-roll the command module. I was also playing with XC, which is a sniper robot that shoots things, because I thought that sounds like fun. And Interface, who's a robot who disguises themselves as humans and then becomes like a security guard and can go move around undetected as a security guard. And basically, XE just shoots them, so it's sort of good at making strike actions, which kills the guard. An Interface can essentially get next to them and say, hey, your shift's over, and then they'll go off to the guard room somewhere else, and then, he pretends to take their shift. And actually, in this way, I was able to remove practically all of the guards from the board, and I only had the captain running around a big loop desperately trying to catch me. Which I guess is kind of funny, but it's not a compelling puzzle. It wasn't an especially compelling puzzle. Although it was pretty funny. So it was a nice moment thematically, but not a particularly sort of compelling puzzle ultimately. And yeah, I mean, so anyway, I really like this, but I kind of wish there was more to it. And it's hard not to sort of compare this though to other cooperative games. And I've got a whole bunch here that I just think are better and like way cheaper. And that's the thing, like way cheaper. And I don't know how much replayability I'm going to get out of this. I also don't know if I'd be interested in playing it with someone else. Because I really don't want to be that bot trapped in a room on my own. I'd almost be tempted to take 3 characters to play it at 2. And I don't think I'd play it at 4 at all. And I'm a little worried about the discovery of the game because I've kind of seen a lot of this stuff. And there doesn't feel like there's a lot of variance in these decks of cards anyway. So pretty much all the variance is going to come from what you're trying to achieve on the board here. And this, and these 2 character things. But the puzzle needs to be really compelling. And it's not guaranteed, so I don't know. I'd be really hard pressed to recommend this to anyone, I think. Basically just because if it was much cheaper, if it was a 40 or 50 pound game, I'd say try it, find someone who's bought it and try it. But as it is, I think it's probably best solo. And even then, only if you're willing to potentially risk, and Billy says to make it harder, you pick a more complex, longer mission. But I might not want to make it longer, so then I need complexity 3 and 1 floor. Does that exist? It does. So I could do Mole Goals by Salida. Or actually, both of Salida's 1 floor missions are complexity 3. So I'll have to have a go at those and see what I think. But right now, I'm not super optimistic. And I also, there's always the risk that you set it up and you start playing and you just get your ass kicked like, for 45 minutes and then you have to reset it because it doesn't feel hard in a fair and enjoyable way. Did they release a demo on TTS? Billy Spencer says the price tag is a rough barrier for entry. Would have to try someone's copy. Yeah, I think the other problem though is the Oh, here's something else I noted down that I like. I like mechanical escalation, or the mechanical narrative of a game. So a game where the narrative is not just story, and so, in Spirit Island, your hand of spirit powers increases in proportion to the invader deck. So the whole game escalates in a satisfying way. In Gloomhaven, your characters become exhausted in a single mission. Your characters become exhausted even as you go through the mission and sort of encounter the harder enemies. That's really satisfying. Um, in this, you get your upgrades, your characters escalate, you go from floor to floor, things get harder on floor to floor. Although I really don't know about the second floor, honestly. Like, um, I almost feel like that's unnecessary. I mean, even the third floor though is like, um, really what's escalating is just these chips, the enemy chips. So you're just going from the level 1 enemy chips to level 2 enemy chips to level 3 enemy chips, and then on the final floor you've also got the captain, and it's a harder puzzle. But it's kind of like, is the journey to get there worth it? Because what are you getting out of it? The power. I like the power in theory. The power is the amount of action dice you get. It's also your hit points, and it's also what you use to upgrade. All of these things are really interesting. I think I'm a little worried there's kind of like a... Because power is quite hard to come by. You get power by completing imperative cards, using the terminal, or picking it up on the network board. But not reliable sources of power. And I'm also a little worried that because power is how you unlock and progress your character, there's a possibility where if you're doing badly, like taking a lot of damage from guards, which reduces your power, um, it could become like just a spiral of self-perpetuating bad, unrecoverable bad problems, Um, Likewise, I guess, to an extent, there's a bit of a positive feedback loop, particularly over here, where if you're really crushing the network and the CO can't even get any pings in, then there's not like a whole lot to worry about there. Um, but I do like upgrading the bots as we go. I like unlocking more of the action dice. I also like the thematic tie between the power and the number of basic action die you get. That's a really nice touch. So I do like that. But the other thing, yeah, Billy, coming back to your point about the sort of the price of entry, aside from the cost of the game, there's also the teaching. And this kind of led me into sort of a line of thinking where I was like, the rules are not, I mean, thematically, to watch the game, it actually doesn't look that bad. Effectively, you're moving each player character. You've got a third one that doesn't have a turn that you have to cooperate to keep safe, and the guards are just going to kind of move around the board. But like that's because I spent, a bunch of time internalizing all the rules. I'm still not convinced I have that third patrol type correct, but that's fine. I did it well enough to play the game and, understand the sort of full experience of the game. Um, and maybe I was doing it right, in which case, fine. But the point is that now that I've internalized all of this stuff, like, there's nothing. So this is a fully cooperative game. If I play it with someone else, we're entirely collaborative. So there's no hidden information. There's no communication restrictions. There's no skill restrictions. I'm talking about like cooperative dexterity games, for example. Um, or there's no mitigation for say alpha gameplay, right? And so my teammate is going to feel the full pressure, social pressure, to not let the team down, right? They've got to hold their end of the team. And if they haven't internalized the full rules of the game as well as I have, then they're going to have a hard time not just sort of seeking direction from me, right? Like you know, I can hold back and not say anything, but then I can't really collaborate with them. But I'm probably going to have a much better insight into what they should be doing because I've internalized all the rules of the game already, you know? And like, this is too heavy for them to sit down for a full upfront teach and internalize all of those rules as well, you know? And don't get me wrong, it would be nice to have a partner in this who knows the game as well as I do, who can remind me of things that I might miss, or remind me, for example, the thing on the mission card, like you need to do this to finish the mission. Don't forget we have to do that. You know, a prompt to not miss things and make mistakes. You know, I think two minds are better than one at that. But you know, I think that I need that person who already knows the game, who's already internalized all the rules, who's really interested in playing with it. You know, and if I'm teaching someone the game, they're basically just kind of going to be tagging along, and we're not really going to be able to collaborate properly because they're going to be asking me all the time, like, okay, well, what should I do? What's going to happen next? You know, these kinds of things. And I can be answering them. But I don't think that'd be an entirely enjoyable experience. And they'd need to internalize all the game before they could. I don't know how long that would take. Maybe it would be really fast. Maybe one floor, and they'd be like, yep, I've got this game, no problem. Maybe it's quite a repetitive game, actually. Like, it's a lot of repetition over and over again. So they probably would grasp it really quickly. Um, so maybe that's not a problem that really exists, you know. But it's something that I thought, you know, at the back of my head, like if you don't grab the rules of this game, which does have a lot going on in it, really quickly, then you know you're not going to be able to contribute much until you have, and that's going to be so you're going to have to be really committed to learning it, and it's quite heavy, and I don't actually know if that's going to make it really difficult to get to the table anyway. Um, Billy says, if I wanted to get beat up, I would play Bloodborne, the board game. And Heggers says, did they release a demo on TTS? I think they probably did, Heggers. And if they haven't, someone probably has, but you know, I don't know. I mean, I would condone playing that to see if you like it because this is so expensive. But also, if you do like the game, you know, I'd say like if you like games and you're playing it on TTS, you should go out and buy it and support the company that made it. You know, because they don't make anything out of TTS, of course. Even though a lot of companies support their own games being put on TTS or do it themselves. Um, you know, but yeah, I don't know. I think the thing is, like, if I want a really good puzzle, I'm just going to play Spirit Island. And if I want a really thematic sort of dice rolly game, I could play Nemesis. I could play um, Cthulhu Death May Die. I actually started comparing this in my head to Cthulhu Death May Die, and I kind of there's a surprising amount of similarities given how sort of different the games look, or sort of purport to feel. But actually, you know, Cthulhu. I mean, you know, Cthulhu Death May Die. But the problem with that is it's really hard to find right now. So, it's hard to recommend that one. But the other one, and I think it's a sort of a natural comparison. And if you saw Shut Up and Sit Down's review of Burncycle, they also said this, um, which is the Burgle Bros. Like, it's another heist game. It's cooperative. It's got an element of randomness to it, but it's way cheaper and it's way quicker to set up, and it's a lot of fun. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much so sum this one up. I probably won't keep it in my collection for much longer, I don't think. I am compelled to try it a few more times, try a harder puzzle, but I have absolutely no desire to play it with anyone else. Just sort of sit here and mull it over on my own. Maybe do it on the Patreon as a live stream. Um, you know, just sort of a casual live stream where I'm just kind of playing. But I don't. I don't think if I brought anyone into it, the amount of stuff I'd have to teach them, they'd have to learn. I don't think that. I just think this risk that they could spend an entire floor standing around in a room or not doing anything or only controlling the command module, you know, um, that's a big risk. And you know, why wouldn't I just play something else? Like, I've got so many good 1v1 two-player games, or we could play Cthulhu Death May Die, which I'd much rather, or Spirit Island. or Too Many Bones, which I'd much rather play, although it's quite long. Um, I don't think this is much shorter though, depending on what difficulty level you put it on, you know, what floor you put it on. But even that, there's no guarantee because it's so modular. It's really hard to tell what's going to happen from the outset. I actually thought going into this one, we'd get into real trouble. And I'm actually surprised by how little trouble we actually got into resolving this mission. And it could have been even easier if we hadn't, if I'd made better decisions in the first mission. And that's, I think, something else that's kind of bothering me at the back of my mind is like I could have made a much smarter play on the first mission, and I don't feel particularly punished for not having done that. Um, but I don't know. Like maybe the punishment was it took 90 minutes longer to do that floor than it would have otherwise. That's not a particularly fun thing, is it? Yeah, I think that about sums up my feelings on this one. Like I think there's a genuine sort of seductive power to the components and the pieces here, particularly these metal miniatures. But like even again, like Chip Theory games make these wonderful components, and this is the first game they've actually produced that I've played by them. Of Too Many Bones and Cloud Spire being the other two, where I've really felt like these components, as gorgeous as they are, and as seductive as this production value is, I actually think in some way, in some places, they actually really detract from the functionality of the game. Case in point, uh, this, for example, here, when I broke through this wall, um, and I put this token out to remind me there's a door there, and then I have to put out my awareness token, and now I have to put out my character token. Um, and I can see there's 3 chips there, which is good, because if I couldn't see there was 3 chips there, I definitely wouldn't know that these other chips were here, or if there was anything on the space they were covering up either. And that's not great. Um, there we go. Sorry that wasn't more positive, especially to Board Game Dungeon, who I know is keen, I think, for me to like this, or just doesn't like that I come on here and don't talk positively about Chip Theory games. Why do I keep backing them? I'll tell you why. Because I love Too Many Bones, and I think it's great, and I'd play it any time. And I was hoping this would be kind of the same thing. Not the same thing. I don't want the same thing. I was hoping this would be a game of equal quality but with a different mechanisms and a different theme that I could get my teeth into. Eddie says, based on the gameplay of Chip Theory games, um, so he says Too Many Bones looks to be the most appealing. I mean, I think Too Many Bones. There's also Hoplomachus, which I haven't really talked about because I don't really know the game well. They did a reboot of it called Hoplomachus Victorum, which is coming out soon, which I've backed, which I think looks great. I really hope they don't mess it up. It is a second edition of a game that is well regarded, so I'm confident about that one. But and it's about gladiators fighting in arenas, and you get to level up and put out chips and all that. It sounds great. Um, but yeah, all of the designs they've done since Too Many Bones. So 4 big box games in total, right? Hoplomachus first edition, Too Many Bones, then they did Cloud Spire, then they did this, and then I guess Hoplomachus Victorum, which is like Hoplomachus second edition, but with a lot more stuff going on. But I don't know if we count that as it's a new thing. So their Cloud Spire has its cult audience, not for me though. And this, I don't know if this will find a cult audience. Um, I, yeah, I genuinely can't say. Oh, good. There's garbage on screen. So, thank you, Haggers, for taking care of that. So yeah, I don't know if this will find its audience, but I think that if you are in the market for a huge box of poker chips and neoprene, Too Many Bones is the safe entryway into this. I wouldn't bother with the other two at all, but you know, to each their own. But I think this is how does this stack up against Cloudspire? I think I'd rather do. I think I'd still rather play this than Cloudspire. Um, yeah, even solo, I think this is probably. I mean, Cloudspire is very unique. This is this unique? This is quite unique. Programming is not new though. Programming is no. I do like programming, but yeah, I mean, do you know what I feel like this puzzle's really lacking? This is my final thought, and then I'm gonna go because I think I've said everything I need to say. But I feel like these enemies, their behavior is just not interesting enough. Like it feels like the awareness chips and the movement of the enemies is like the core puzzle here. But it feels like it doesn't play. I think fundamentally the problem here is that when you're really excelling at the game, like nothing is happening. These guys are all standing around in rooms not doing anything. You're not putting out your awareness chip. Nobody's noticing you. And so nothing's happening in the game. And that's the best state for you. You know? I'm shocked there are guards that patrol by doing nothing. And so effectively they're just turrets with big awareness that stand around, you know? But if you can avoid them, their awareness or manipulate it, it's then they're irrelevant, right? Um, I think that they just didn't get that quite right. They this it needed to be predicting where the guards are going to go. More the thing is as well, like the only ways to take the guards out are either by using your awareness in some way. And this comes back to my point earlier about how there's no action to place awareness. Like you can't really use awareness in a super clever way except with that terminal action and actually being able to put awareness out with the terminal. And I guess you're like hacking a door and making the door slam, and then they're like, "Oh, what was that slamming door?" and they come and investigate. That's like an intriguing little bit of gameplay. And I wish there was much more stuff like that. Manipulating the guards, trying to time their movements, you know, so they come over here and they're like, what was this noise? And then you get to run over here and be all sneaky and then try to do something in this room before they come back and then you have to get out in time. Like those moments of tension, they seem to come about quite by accident and they don't exist enough and they're never by your design. And so that core sort of gameplay loop of being stealthy, manipulating the guards, understanding their behaviors, and it never really comes together by deliberate player choice, and more just kind of by accidental circumstance. And the best kind of mitigation for the guards is just to get them to do nothing, and that's kind of a shame. Hager says needs to be more Metal Gear Solid. Then, I mean, it's a stealth game, a heist stealth game, but it doesn't feel like there's enough heist and stealth going on, and it doesn't feel like we have enough autonomy over that, you know? And maybe that's not what they were going for, but, you know, that's maybe a bit of a problem then. I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't have made a stealth heist game then. They should have made something that was much more focused around the programming. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm going to call this a stream. I'm just trying to think before I go if there was something I played recently that I really, really, really liked. Because I don't want to be that guy that's just super negative on YouTube all the time. I actually love board games. I love playing board games. I play them all the time. Um, and I really, really like them, and that's why I make this content. Chris says Netrunner. Yes, Chris and I were playing some Nisai Netrunner. And that was really enjoyable. I really Netrunner is really fun. And I do enjoy it a lot. Definitely more fun in person, but we also enjoyed it on Jinteki as well, where you can go and just play Netrunner for free. So, although Jinteki is a bit naff, the website where you can play Netrunner. God, I feel there's definitely something else. Just looking around here, like, what did I bring to the board game club or whatever? Um, play recently. Did I play something with my partner recently? Um, I don't know. I'll think of something. Oh, here's a nice little tip. I was given a review copy of Suspects at Essen, last Essen by Studio H. So big thanks to Studio H for the review copy. And Michael and I played through. I mean, Flick Fleet. We live streamed Flick Fleet. Michael and I live streamed Flick Fleet. You should definitely go check that out. I love Flick Fleet. It's awesome. We also played Suspects, and that was thoroughly enjoyable. It's a sort of a puzzly, detective-y, cooperative detective-y game, and we had a good time playing that. So, I mean, I don't know how expensive it is actually. It's 3 sort of chapters, and there's not even like all that much game to it really. Like the crimes are pretty solvable, and it's really just a case of how quickly can you solve them. Like, the quicker you do them, the more points you get. But Chris says, "Did you reset it?" Well, we didn't finish the 3rd chapter yet, Chris, so we have to reset the 3rd chapter. But then I'll reset it, and you can have it. But yeah, we really liked that. So there you go. There's a cooperative game that is probably relatively cheap. It is a sort of a one and done. You can't really replay it or anything like that, but it's enjoyable, an enjoyable romp. And I think they've got a 2nd edition of that coming out soon as well, or second set, 3 more chapters for it. Um, so that's cool. Right. Oh, Carnegie. I played Carnegie at the board game club. That's excellent. It's really good. I was thoroughly impressed by it. I'd only played it. We played it on Board Game Arena here on the channel, Jonathan and I. I finally got to play it in the flesh, and I'm going to come back over here to the chat box just so you can see the chat. But I'm just hoping there's no more bots posting horrible things on my stream. Thanks, YouTube. God, you have one job, YouTube. Actually, that's not true. You have a lot of jobs, but some of them, like, come on. And sort out your copyright stuff. I'm tired of being claimed. So Carnegie's really excellent as well. So that's a heavy Euro game. If you're into your heavy Euros, this is a heavy Euro that has a bit of a teach up front, but the actual decision space is really compelling. And the overall, like, once you're playing it, it's actually surprisingly easy. Like, it's a heavy game that is actually quite easy to grok, but with a lot of difficult decisions. So, and it's thematically quite amusing as well. And I was surprised by how different it can be depending on the setup of the game as well. So, fair amount of replayability there. One of our players got all of their employees stuck in the lobby and didn't have an HR department that was skilled enough to actually move the employees from the lobby into the various departments of the company. So they just kind of had a lot of people in training for the whole game, which was really amusing. For me, not so much. I mean, for them, it was okay. I mean, they still enjoyed the game, although I'm sure that there are ways to mitigate that problem. But anyway, everyone thought it was really good, even those that didn't do very well. There we go. That's it. I'm calling it a stream. Thank you, everyone, so much who supports this content and is able to keep this channel running and able to keep us producing content. We're very, very, very grateful for all of that. And a big thanks to all of the Patreon supporters who support us. And here's a little heads up for you guys as well, seeing as you've watched all the way to the end. There will be a another, I can't remember what they called it, meet and play at Essen this year. So if you happen to be going to Essen this year, we'll come to the meet and play, and we'll play some games there. So fingers crossed you can make it. But if you're on the fence about Essen, then maybe let this be your deciding element. Come and play games with us. Last time we played Monikers with a bunch of people who didn't really speak English, and it worked incredibly well. So maybe we'll do that again. I don't know. Anyway, thanks everyone so much for watching, and I'll see all of you all in the next stream, which I think will be next week sometime. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. And if you're already subscribed, make sure you've turned on notifications. And if you've done both of those things, follow me on Twitter. And if you've done all of those things, like me on Facebook and follow me on Instagram. And then you'll definitely find out, unless you're Eddie, and then you'll just have to show up 10 minutes after we go live. Thanks so much, everyone. And yeah, it was great fun last time. We also played just one in 3 different languages simultaneously. It was a blast. Goodbye, everyone. See you all next time.